Welcome, 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 welcome. Hello, Earth's love. Hello, seeker of no. We've been in the trenches together. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, YouTube family. Welcome, TikTok family. Of course, things have slowed down in our hoodoo community. Excuse me. This is what this video is geared towards, the resources that we review over there in our community. Hello, my name is Miss Penny. I'm a metaphysician, a hoodoo practitioner, a mentor. Hello, Dales, over the group Spiritual Roots Hoodoo Community. And I also run the chemistry platform and business. Okay, been in here for over 20 years. So, okay, let's get to the good stuff because we're going to talk about hoodoo and how we integrate hoodoo in our everyday life. All you received a review, another review, because I've given that book away in the earlier part of last year, 365 Days of Hoodoo. And you have the book. Hopefully, you were able to go over the interview that I posted with Stephanie Rose Bird in the group. Now, did anyone get a chance to review that interview with Stephanie? Did anyone get a chance to listen to it? I got a chance to listen to that. And one thing I strongly disagree with Miss Stephanie Rosebird. It is not, anyone cannot practice this. This is not an open practice. I don't know what Stephanie is doing. And I think she's trying to make herself look more appealing among her pale faced people. But we are not the same. So anyone cannot pick this up. I don't know what Stephanie's doing. Now we see that when it gets commercialized, when Hoodoo gets, I'm getting on the soapbox now, you guys. And this is why I strongly disagree with you, Miss Stephanie Rosebird, if you're gonna ever watch this. Hopefully somebody share this with you because you're all over YouTube. This is a closed practice. Now, you see other people, we have shared different folk remedies with other cultures. So you have seen the remedies and rituals go across a culture, but that doesn't mean that hoodoo is open. It doesn't mean that. Okay, it's definitely closed. You must don't know who your ancestors is when you're saying this. Now, would they be able to work with some of the spirits? Do we use some of the same spirits that use to get work done? Absolutely. But our ancestors, when it comes to ancestral, that's when the line is drawn. It's important for you to understand that this is not, they are calling what they're doing is hoodoo, but it is not, because hoodoo is ancestral. And that is the difference. Now, if they follow the ancestors in their own ancestors in their practice, that's totally different. It doesn't mean, again, you got somebody calling yourself something that's ancestral by a name they created. And like I said, our ancestors did not call that hoodoo. Okay, I've never heard anyone call our magic hoodoo. This is something the outsiders are really giving us, these names. Have to be absolutely clear. So I definitely disagree with Miss Stephanie Rosebird. I don't know if you're trying to appeal to your colleagues around you that don't look like you, but your ancestors, they wasn't trying to appeal to nobody. They wasn't trying to appeal to anyone. They practiced and they pregnant. Other people was looking at them because they stuff worked. And you got these people now trying to hijack what we do and tell us how we should do our magic, and they not even our ancestors. You got people. I know y'all mean well, and some of you think that you are doing hoodoo, but you got to really sit down and think about what our ancestors went through. And if you really, really respect our practice and you know what we went through, why would you pick that up? Look, no, you don't look like us. And Miss Rosebird, you need to recheck yourself. No, we are not the same. No. And a lot of them think they doing hoodoo. I let them think that. That's what our ancestors did. They let them think that when they start commercializing it and everything. But we, at the end, They all had to come to us for some type of real spiritual, to get some real spiritual done. Someone who knew the practice, who knew that it was ancestral. You don't have the kind of ancestral knowledge that we're privy to once we start following our ancestors, because this goes all the way back to the land. Do your ancestors go back to the American land? The land where they're already there. Our ancestors was already there. It has more indigenous roots to it, American indigenous roots to it, than African roots. I have to be absolutely clear about that, because you still have people, they obscured our identity by linking um, a lot of our practices in Africa, when that's not totally so. America had their own, the indigenous people there had heavy form of spiritual practices. I have to be very absolutely clear about this. And yes, it's important that you know this. It's important you're going to hear me talk about this, because people like to get to the magic part of hoodoo and the spells. But if you do not understand the practice, I will repeat this again to the people in the back. You are not going to get far in this. If you don't understand your ancestral struggle, if you don't make the connections with it, then this only so far you're going to get with that. That's why I say this is not an open practice. This is not open. I don't know why would you even say that, because you, when you do this, you dismiss your ancestor struggles in reserving the practice. And the other practitioners that's trying to come in and hijack it and say that it's open, can you work with some of the spirits? Probably. You probably can. Not saying you can't, because you can't control what a spirit work with. Will you be able to work with all the ancestral spirits that's connected to us? Absolutely not, because some of them don't like you. I'm just got it's the same. Some of them do not care for you. Okay, and I'm surely, and some of you probably already know that, but you're not going to say that. You're going to keep claiming this. I don't understand it, because you have your own stuff. Why would you want to practice that? You have your own stuff. You have your own stuff created. It looks, again, I can't see that being you having success with that, because of the disrespect and the way you approach it, and you are minimizing the struggle of the people who created it. You're disrespecting once again. And Miss Rosebird, you probably need to watch how you're saying that and talking about that, because hoodoo is not for everybody. Yes, I see people here. I see people that don't look like me and claim they're working hoodoo. Let them think that they're doing that. I let them keep thinking that they're doing that. Okay? Because you're not. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna hey, we can fight about that if you want to. But we go looking at, you need to look at the magnitude. Are you doing anything to dismantle the oppression of the people who created it? That's what I want to ask people, the pale face people. Are you doing anything to dismantle all the stuff that happened to them that's still existing? Are you doing anything? Why would you want to pick it up? And no, most of them not. They just trying to capitalize off of it. Just like when they found out about it, all of them start copying the products that we made, start doing mass production, selling stuff that didn't work. They doing it right now today. So no, it's not open. You took it like that because you're selfish, just like your ancestors. And then try to play it down. No, we ain't the same. And no, it's not open. And yeah, you can claim that you're doing this and doing that, but you don't have the indigenous knowledge that was passed on to us. It's things in hoodoo you don't know. Okay, you'll see that. I can tell you this because I've followed my ancestors, and they have showed me work I've absolutely haven't seen anywhere else. That's what happens when you start following your ancestors. They tie you back to the land and start showing you stuff with these plants and remedies and things like that. Just so we ain't the same. So I have to be absolutely clear. I didn't like when Miss Stephanie Rosebird, when you said that. You really need to rethink that, because when you do that, you replay, you downplay and minimize what happened to your ancestors and what they had to do to preserve the knowledge. Now, this ain't all size fit one. Now, can they follow their ancestors in their practice? Absolutely, just like we follow ours. Okay, and they follow their ancestors all the time. They got President Day to people that love the unalive people. They created that for y'all. Follow y'all ancestors and all this other crazy stuff. I don't know why. You got your own folks. You got your own stuff. Follow that. It's just disrespectful. And Miss Rosebird, I love the materials that you write, but maybe you're getting a little money desperate and want to bring everybody in there and teach them that. And even when she was talking during the interview, you can see her trying to withhold some information from the interviewer in the way that you know she approached his questions. I appreciate you doing a little gatekeeping on that after you invited everybody to the cookout. Really, Miss Rosebird? Really? Really rethink that, beloved. I don't think your ancestors told you to do that. You need to really think about what you're doing and stop trying to include them. They're not going to make you comfortable in their society. So why would you make them comfortable now? This is not a one size fit all. And they want it to be because they can't stop talking about hoodoo in their magic books. Because without us sharing some of the rituals and remedies, I don't think their magic would have been uh successful as it was. But that don't mean that it's the same. Did we share remedies? Do we work with some of the same spirits? Absolutely. But the line is again, the boundary is set is when it goes to ancestral. No, it's not the same. Okay. Do we share some remedies and things, Bible magic and some of the remedies? Yes, we do. But our power come from our ancestors. Okay. It comes directly from our ancestors. So I want to be absolutely clear on that. No, I did not agree with that in that interview, but I also wanted you to see how she was gatekeeping hoodoo. And I don't even think he picked up on that. But she was gatekeeping it when he got to asking more about her mojo bag, and our magic. But please, this is not everybody invited to the cookout, Miss Stephanie Rosebird. It's not. Okay. So I definitely disagree with that. I'm off my soapbox with that. Um, and I guess we're gonna move on. I think it's one more thing I want to cover. One more thing I want to cover for all my social media followers who watches the videos that I post on TikTok and the ones that I post here on YouTube. Um, if I see you are in my comments, because see, I don't argue with, because I know these spirits work through people. Okay, and I can see them in you, depending on it's the words and the things that you use in my post or whatever. I would not argue with you. I would not give you a warning if I see that you working with one of them spirits on my post, because I'm absolutely clear in all my posts what's going on. Okay, I'm absolutely clear when I am going over anything in the post. And if you're not vibing with me, you don't get what I'm saying. This means we're on two different frequencies. There's no sense in you having access to you know what I'm talking about. So I will block you without explanation, without argument. I'm not going to waste my energy with you because I already know what's going on with you. If you find yourself blocked, I don't argue with Soon as I see you show me the red flag, I block you. I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna go back because it's not waste my energy. You're there to drain energy. Anytime you comment on the post something negative you don't like, if you don't like it, you keep going. But I could tell when spirits in you because you would go in trying to engage and trying to extract energy. It doesn't make sense. Ask yourself why you comment on the post you don't like. You never ask yourself that. See, I see, I know what's going on with you. Okay, I know how spirits work through people. Okay, y'all think y'all gonna see some ghosts or like people? No, these spirits are working through people. You need to understand spiritual warfare, and I see it when I see it. I block you. I ain't gonna play with you not damn big. Not gonna disrupt my peace because I know you're there to extract and take energy. Okay, so if I give you any emotional reaction, you feed off that. Are you aware of that? I don't know. Because you ain't stop slow down long enough to ask yourself, why am I posting on something I don't like? Something I don't even understand. Why I'm doing that? I can just go mind my own business. I can just if I can just keep scrolling, I can go to somewhere else. So I will immediately block you. So I know how these spirits work. I know they work through people. And I've been seeing a lot here lately on social media, the spirits that ancestors been showing me, but I've been seeing a lot. So I know what's going on. And I warn you, in our community, you will see this. The more you level up and the more you take care of yourself and you start to grow, that don't think you ain't gonna be under spiritual attack. So get ready. That's why I tell you to do your spiritual protection, do your cleansing, understand spiritual warfare and how they look. We've already went over there. You think you're gonna be seeing some ghosts and all that stuff? No, you're gonna be seeing these people do questionable things that don't make no damn sense to get an emotional reaction out of you. Oh, they get mad. They know who you are. They know when you level up. Okay. They try to get you back in there. They work through your friends, your family, and all of that. You're gonna be trying to heal and all that type of stuff, and these people still gonna be trying to extract your energy. The more aware you become and how they are manipulating you out of your energy and deceiving you. Hey Tina, hey Shamar, Latrice, hello Jay Harris, hello TikTok family, hello YouTube family, hello Spiritual Roots Hoodoo community, who uh this discussion is geared towards. But anyone else can definitely enjoy this discussion and review. Okay, so you need to know how these spirits work. They work through these crazy people. You think, and you got to know how to deal with them. Okay, you got to know when, hey, these spirits is jumping at, it be like a Mr. Smith thing. You understand me? You don't understand spiritual warfare. That's why I say I don't recommend that you pick this up if you don't understand the practice. You don't even know spiritual protection, spiritual cleansing. You don't even have spiritual discernment. You don't know how these spirits operate through people's mind and emotions. And they love extracting. They get bigger feeds after off of your emotional reactions. They feed very well. And you saying, why won't they manifest? Why would they manifest in a full form when they get more energy out of staying invisible feeding after you? It takes too much energy for them to malevolent spirits to manifest. They get more energy after your emotional reaction and fear like that. They get more energy from staying invisible than appearing. They're not going to appear unless they really, really have to. They're going to keep jumping from people to people. Okay? You need to understand how these spirits work. I just did an end cleanse. I'm going to send you a picture later. Okay. Hey, Miss Petty Hale, Sharon Waters. This how these spirits operate. You need to know that. You think you're gonna be seeing some ooh aha? No. Okay. They work again, feeding off your lower vibrations, your lower, you know, nature, type of emotions. They love that. They're gonna do anything to get a feed off you, get a reaction. Do you offer personal Readings and mediumship. Yes, I do. I do offer that. You should be able to see that on TikTok in my bio. All of that is listed. Do you offer personal readings? Yes, Miss Vaughn, I do. Okay. So again, you dealing with you don't deal with you think you dealing with your people that don't like you because once you wake up and you start healing yourself, they're not gonna like the new you. They're gonna want the old scarred you, and they're gonna think you better than them because you doing healing. You won't tolerate a whole bunch of that crazy stuff no more. Listen to me now. Your friends, your family, these spirits gonna start using. You're gonna see these spirits that's been using your family to harness your energy. Are they doing it on purpose? Absolutely not. They don't even know they're sick. They don't even know their vibrations are so low. These spirits are using them. At some point, you were being used by the same spirits too, but now that you're healing and you're getting that stuff out and your eyes are open, now you're able to see these spirits that's been working on your family. So y'all think that's why when people come to me and they tell me they've been doing the healing work and you getting along with everybody, nobody's seeing a difference in you. It lets me know what's going on with you because a lot we have normalized a sickness. Okay, and once you start becoming aware of this and start healing yourself and cleaning your energy and watch what you expose yourself to. Because you go on an energy diet. This is about an energy diet too, purging up all that dark stuff. You're going to be careful about who you're spending your time with as you try to tap into your magic. And that happens within you. It ain't outside of you following nobody. Okay? It ain't outside of you following nobody. It's about this inner stuff. You got a lot of people practicing this and they have not healed. But they'll hurry up and show you a spell. It doesn't make sense to me. This person does not understand this practice. And you're going to show them a spell to someone who don't understand the practice. You got a lot of people that they get you in the group and that's all they teach you is spells and not the practice. This is a way of life. Hoodoo is a way of life. Okay? That's one thing Miss Rosebird got right. Hoodoo is a way of life. So again, understanding spirits. And like I said, if you come on my post with that crazy stuff, I don't go back and forth with you. I'm gonna let you know that right now. I'm just gonna go ahead politely let you go, release you, honey, because we on two different frequency. Ain't no sense in me saying nothing to you because you don't hear me no way. Okay? I'm doing both of us a favor. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I see the Patreon links for a membership, which will I do, but not for the reads. Go ahead and DM me for the read with your email address, and I'll get you out an invoice. But if you want to know how much each reading is, click on the community service playlist, and this should be listed there. I hope that helped you. And after you saw, the prices and things like that, and the community service playlist, then go ahead and DM me your email address, and I'll get you out an invoice. I hope that made sense to you. Okay. Hope that helped. Okay. All right. All right. But if not, just DM me and I'll just give you the prices and everything. Okay. All right. So let's jump into 365 days of hoodoo, integrating root work, spirit, and magic into your everyday life. This is important because hoodoo is a way of life and it takes some slow integration. That's why when you get over there in our community, it can be overwhelming because yes, there's a lot of insight, information, and resources that we have about hoodoo. Because we don't leave any stone unturned. We want you to totally comprehend the practice, the work behind the spells. Okay, the concepts of the workings. Want it's not want you to fully understand that. So take your time with this. One of the first things I do recommend if you just want to start working with hoodoo is practice, uh again, spiritual protection, cleansing, and understand spirits, spiritual defense, and how these spirits operate. That's going to help you and stay as close. Uh, again, develop a relationship with your most elevated ancestors. Those are the most important things you can do to slowly start integrate if you're a beginner. Some of you are not beginners, you already got this together. But for the beginners, that is what I recommend for you. Get that together first before you start trying to practice uh doing these spells, because you can clear out a lot of energy like that. And then your ancestors will let you know which work you'll be good at and which work you'll have to do some healing work, some inner work on to be able to do the work. It happens. This is the practice. I'm not going to teach you no spell and you don't understand the practice. This is the practice. Okay? So if you come here and you think I'm going to teach you a whole bunch of spells, I'm going to let you know right now, beloved, that's not going to help you. You learn all the spells you want to. You're gonna keep jumping from spell to spell to spell to spell to spell and don't understand the practice. I don't care what these people show you. If you ain't working with no spirit, ain't nothing gonna be jumping for you. And I told you that already. Okay? So that is important for you to understand that. People not explaining that to you. They keep selling you stuff and you don't understand the practice. Okay? If you want to see results, and you want your stuff to be successful and you want to grow in your practice, we show you the practice so your work can be successful. Okay? All right? That's what we do here. Not gonna, and it don't do me no good to show you that and you don't understand how it works. You don't know what spirit to work with to even get it done. You don't even know the components of magic. Okay? So that's why we teach you to practice. Okay, so let's get a positive and powerful start on our year by talking about how it truly means what it truly means to integrate hoodoo into your everyday lives. One of the most accessible, practical, inspiring resources to help us uh, do exactly that is the book of 365 Days of Hoodoo, Daily Root Work, Mojo, and Conjuration. Okay, now at the front of this book, it looked like uh, you know you're gonna be doing spells. No, 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 no. Because hoodoo works better in cycles and season. Any magic. Hello, California, up forever 444. Happy New Year to everyone. What I don't know what it is. Our New Year really don't begin into the spring, but for formality, Happy New Year to everyone. Hoodoo is about cycles. It's about seasons. If you in alignment, all magic of that matter is about alignment, and especially with hoodoo, because we work so much with the land and the earth and nature. The more you can align your magic, your workings up with the seasons of nature and plan it out, the better results you'll see in your work. That's why I tell people, once you start practicing hoodoo, start growing you something. Get on that land and start making friends with these plants. Start talking to these plants, working with these plants, because they are going to be helping you in your workings. That's the one thing we get you comfortable with is elemental magic. And we cover elemental magic in our community so you can fully understand each element and how we use them in our work. This is important because if you don't understand the elements and which elements that you work good with or how to work with these elements, you don't understand it. It's only so far you're going to get in this. Am I losing anyone? Do you understand what I'm saying? Let me know if I'm losing you, because you got somebody showing you something you don't understand how it works. So I want you to understand how it works so you can have success in it. Okay, okay. And Shamar Latrice. So Shamar Latrice, you was on the YouTube. Now you jumped on TikTok. Okay. So that's important for you to understand. It is about living hoodoo day by day, season by season, moment by moment. Hoodoo magic becomes especially effective when it is aligned with natural seasons and cycles because hoodoo is rooted in nature. spirit, and ancestral timing. The tradition was born from people who lived close to the land and understood that all things move in rhythms: planting, harvest, growth, rest, rebirth, and death. When our magic flows with these cycles instead of against them, our work gains strength, clarity, and momentum. When you learn how to use these energies, that's one reason why when I first get you over there, the first thing we do is have you working with the archangels uh that's over different planets, because we know you need to be in natural alignment. This is one reason why our ancestors kept the almanac too. Yeah. But they were doing planetary. They were looking at the planets, when to harvest, when the best time these planets will come out, and the magical effect that they have on the planets. Now, see, if you got your almanac, it's going to show you that. That's why I said that almanac. Whoever wrote that almanac, them folks is doing magic. Okay, you go look at one of them almanacs. You said, now these folks, and then you look at nature and how they're planning things. Nature is magical, especially when you start lining it up with your work and you understand how you can use these energies. Okay, so one thing, and you can use, again, we're talking about these energies again that we can use in our work. Them angels, something serious. Yep, them angels are something serious too. Okay, because that they when you work with the angels, why I'm getting you aligned with the angels, because they're going to clear the work for your prayer and your work. They're going to help when you go to opening your mouth and talking. They're going to make sure they keep all that contrast away from you. Anything that could be blocking your prayer. Now, when you working with you, because I'm lining you up with your most elevated ancestors, okay? And most of them are saints, and quite frankly, some of them are angels. So the way I'm lining you up with your work, you're going to come in contact with these higher frequencies again, because I know you need to heal, okay? And I know these angels here, they're going to help you have see more success in your work. But the thing with working with angels and your most elevated ancestors, you can't be doing raggedy stuff with them. I was hearing another practitioner in Palo talk about how he worked with these different spirits, these dead spirits. And he said he usually get a spirit. He don't want no spirit that's too light, because of the work he need them to do. He need them to be a little bit questionable. That's why I say watch what you're doing when you get over there and you get initiated. Okay. Am I judging him? No, because depends on what he's trying to do. You will want to work with a spirit like that, you know, to get earthly things done, if especially if they understand justice, and they understand, how someone can injure you in this physical realm. So, am I judging him? No, I'm not. I'm not judging him at all. I'm saying you need to know what you're doing and what you're working with when you get over there. Okay. But this is one reason why I line you up with these, because again, you need to heal and get in alignment. And what better way to do it is to work with these archangels. But you cannot be doing raggedy stuff with them. This is going to elevate you. Okay. This is going to teach you the language of spirit and get you comfortable with communicating with these energies. And I don't know why you think you wouldn't have to work for a spirit when you worked over here, or jump over here in hoodoo, because our ancestors worked with spirits. That's how it got done. They was praying over it, and they was calling on spirit than their ancestors. And I don't, like I said, you know, I'm telling you the fact of how it is done. Okay, in no sense of you doing a spell if you ain't got no help behind it, you ain't got no support behind it, you ain't got no angel helping you, you ain't asked no ancestors this is going to be successful, you don't have a saint helping you, you don't know, you know, all the resources available to you, but somebody teaching you a spell. Okay, that I have to be absolutely clear on that, because hoodoo is as a practice. Okay, you can find it in our link. You can find the classes in our link here on TikTok and YouTube if you're interested in our courses here. Right there, and you can just click on it. So again, this is a practice. It does not, and I know people mean well. I'm not bashing anyone who comes here and show you. I know they're trying to help you. I know what they're doing. The only way that I would give you work to do is that you come to me for a reading, and the ancestors lead me on you doing some work, and I'm doing some work too. I'm going to automatically give you some work. That's the only way that I'm going to show you something. I'm going to tell you to do something because I understand the practice. Okay. And the ancestors, your spirit guides, is telling me that you need this particular ritual or remedy or workings to do to move something out your life. That is the only way. And even on that end, I'm going to be doing some type of work for you while you're doing that, if you really need it. But that is the only time that I will be showing you anything because I understand the practice. And if the spirit is telling me this is what you need, then I'll prescribe it to. And the most I will ever do with that is a bath, some type of cleansing or bath or protection you need to do. HME is a reading. I don't understand that question, Shawash. You said HM is a reading, hon. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, sweetie. Okay, so uh again, understanding the practice. If they're showing you something, and more than likely, they mean well, but they know that they are working with spirits, their ancestors, or a spirit guide or some spirit have helped them put that work together. How much does it cost for a reading? They're different prices. My angel tarot is 35, the ancestors is 40, the Akashic record is 50, and the astro is 15. So, but you can go there to our community services playlist, and all the information is there. So, if you're looking for want to know more about our services and you want to know more about our community, please visit the profile. It is listed there in community services playlist. Okay. If you're interested in our courses, our Hoodoo community, where you get all the support that you need, plenty of resources. You're gonna be drowning. You're not have any questions about anything or be lost. If you are, I'm there. I'm there to help you. Click the link in our bio. Takes you right over there to our community. Okay. Takes you right on over there if that's something that you're interested in, and go at your own pace. Do not feel overwhelmed because we have so many resources. If you want to know a lot of things about hoodoo, it's going to knock your socks off. You get over there because we just cover everything from top to bottom. And we're also doing a poll right now in our community, asking our community, how do you want your community to look? Do you want to see more workshops? Do you want to see more meetings? Do you want more community fellowship? So because it's our community, so I really try to get you engaged in our community activities and show support as much as I can. You matter there, your voice matters. So if there's anything you want to add, as Seeker of No, if there's anything you want to know or anything you want, you're interested in saying, hey, I want to add this to our community. Can you do a poll for this? I will do it. Okay. I'm pretty easy to talk to. Okay. So I'm good again to serve the community, make sure that we're getting what we need out of our community. Hello, Ocean Waters. Okay. Happy New Year, Black Magic Mike. Okay. So I'm there here to serve our community. So I'm very easy to talk to. I won't bite your head off. I will because it's our community. You know, I'm not atypical. That's the only thing I can tell you. Okay. You won't know until you reach out to me and have a conversation with me. All right. So each season carries a distinct spiritual current. Okay, so understand that like now we're in the winter months, and I think I've talked about this before in the video. The winter months when you're going in, this is the best time to go inward and start creating your inner world. This is the best time to be doing some path working, ancestral work, doing a lot of healing work during the winter, doing a lot of shadow work. Okay, this and doing this is the best time to be doing this work. So when the spring comes, you see all this inner alchemy you do. Now you can start manifesting it on the physical realm. Does this make sense to you guys? See, nobody's told you how this work. But I'm telling you how it work. You even have practitioners that only do work in the spring. They can't wait till the spring, especially the root workers that work on the land. Okay. They've been getting the dirt ready. Everything is, is ready. They've did the inner work and all that stuff. And then they can start planting seeds, or they're watching it grow in the spring. You can also work with trees like this. I was just hearing a creator talk like this, but I think we mentioned it when it come to earth signs. If you have heavy earth placements in your chart, more than likely you're going to be good with working with the earth. You need to be working with trees and plants, placing your offerings there, talking to them, leaving petitions there, working with these tree spirits. We work with spirits here, and them relationships you need to develop right off the bat, since you're going to be using these plants and herbs in your working. You need to be growing some, making friends with these spirits. We have a lot of elemental spirits in our spiritual practices. Okay, so if you can make friends with some of these plants, and you have some hoodoo practitioners, their work is even more effective because they grow their own herbs and stuff and use them in their magic. You have some practitioners that only buy from people that make conjure oils and stuff. They only buy from people that make their products like this. Oh yeah, it just gets real distinct. You get some practitioners, they know what they're doing. They know how to forage their products. They know how to buy their products and how they want products to act. Okay. So if you can grow something, and now you can do it easily because they have basil and thyme, these little plants available in your grocery store. You can start from there. Just talking to them, and because again, plants are conscious. Water holds memory. We know all these elements are alive. So the more you start doing this, your world becomes more and more magical. What they call magic. That's why I said, because you begin to look at the natural world and see it merge with your physical reality and see how it plays out. Because nature itself is magical. There's magic in nature. We even, I forgot what book we covered. I didn't know our ancestors did this, but they said that some of our ancestors, they would collect dew, the morning dew, off the grass for certain workings. That's why a lot of them was getting up 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning to collect the dew. They thought it had some magical purpose and helped them in their workings. So they work very closely with the land, and we talk heavily. I'm sorry, we talk a lot about animism. So there's a lot of animism in hoodoo, where we see everything that we use, nature, everything is alive. Okay, so I do recommend that you grow you something in this practice. It's gonna help your root work. Okay, it's gonna help you in your workings. Because we're establishing a relationship. You think you're gonna have to get a relationship with these people. These people gonna teach you something. No, these people ain't gonna teach you nothing. These spirits gonna teach you something, okay? Stop thinking these people gonna teach you. You got to get somewhere and be quiet, and stop being scared because you a spirit. You ain't no human, so just stop that. You ain't gonna have this body for long. So I don't know why you're scared of the spirit, because you are a spirit. And if you scared of spirits, don't come over here in hoodoo, because that's what we do. We talk to spirit. You talk to plant spirits, herbal spirits, your ancestor spirits. And that's where your ass shade. When you start to realize this, the stronger your magic gonna be. Okay? After, because Some people get mesmerized. This I don't understand it either because some people get so mesmerized with the spell, and when you tell them they got to work with a spirit or to get assistance on the spell, they get scared. Well, did you not know you was doing something spiritual? Don't pick up magic if you don't want to work with the spirit. I don't know what to tell you. Spoke with my ancestors on the other side of the family last night for the first time. Congratulations. Okay. You gonna work with a spirit. That's what our ancestors did. They had a relationship with the land, the American land. Okay. Very powerful spirits there on the land. So you using the roots, the herbs and stuff there. Like High John the Conqueror, for example, we understand the root. So we work with High John the Conqueror. It's a spirit, the spirit of the root. Okay, but if you understand this and you go over here picking this stuff up, then that's not gonna help you, baby. That's all I can say. Greetings, didn't get a notification, but I called it finally. Okay, I'm sorry. Power up in nature. I don't know what's going on with that. Hello, Empress. I don't know what's going on with these notifications. I heard somebody talk about how TikTok was cutting off their viewers. They had so many viewers and TikTok shut down their live stream. And honey, I don't know what's going on. Okay, I don't think I can call this the tech boogers, the tech rascals getting in there. I don't know. Hello, bright morning star. Okay, so it's important for you to understand that each season carries a distinct spiritual current. Spring is a time of renewal, road opening, cleansing, and new beginnings. I just dropped pearls on you right there. This is the time you should be really doing road openers. And then there's types of road openings too. A lot of people they just tell you to do a road opener, but there's about 4 or 5 different types of road openers uh that is available for different type of work. Okay, we covered that in our community as well. So this is the best time to do that kind of work. And then you add and again we can amp it up even more. We can even add to work with an angel during this time. Or we can amp it up and say, hey, we can go to work with a planetary energy at this time. Again, the idea of hoodoo and to get your magic tilted in your scales, this is about shifting and unfolding more than anything. Because if you're not in alignment with the work, you're not going to see it. And if you think that it's supposed to happen tomorrow, then you probably don't need to be working on magic. You don't understand the practice. Okay. This is when spells for fresh starts, healing, love, and opportunity take root most easily. Summer holds the energy of expansion, vitality, passion, and abundance, making it ideal for prosperity work, confidence building, and relationship magic. Fall brings harvest, balance, gratitude, preparation, supporting money work, stability, protection, grounding rituals. Winter is a season of rest, reflection, ancestral connection, and deep spiritual maintenance. Okay, so this is the time there are a lot of self-love, a lot of self-care, because you get some people because of these energies that's available, people get depressed and all that stuff during the winter months. That's really Mother Nature's way of telling you to do some shadow work. But some people let instead of doing the shadow work, they'll let this, emotions consume them. So you can work with the angel ancestors together. They're the same thing. I get you working with the angels because they have the highest frequency, and you'll get some ancestors that look just like angels that serve as angels. And many of them are saints. Okay, you have some people they understand this. They'll have a altar with nothing but archangels on there. They love because they're friends with these spirits. You'll see this a lot in Catholicism because these people never stop conjuring. I got to keep saying this. I don't. These people still conjuring and doing magic in the Catholic Church. They never stop. And you will see a lot of our ancestors. They hid their religion under there. They'll tell you, I'm a devout Catholic. Okay. But they again they doing conjuring and stuff with the saints and stuff. Now they call it saint veneration, but we're doing the same thing. Okay, we're doing the same thing. So you'll see some ancestors they have an altar to number archangels. Then they have one where they work with nothing but saints. They work with a variety of saints. They friends with these spirits. Then they got a whole ancestor altar up there. They might look like a Bavita. They might have pictures. If they have some elevated family members, you might see family members and things like that with a little Bavita, glasses of water, or it just could be simple. Uh, and it could be elaborate as well, just with water and pictures of family members that that've been elevated that they work with. So you'll see that. They work with spirits. You have these people working for you. You're seeing a pretty little spell, but guess where that pretty little spell sitting? To communicate with these spirits to help you in to help them in the work. That's what's going on there. That's what's going on there. But you seeing a pretty little spell, but you best believe me, that spell is sitting there at that altar, petitioning help with the work. Whether it's an angel, a saint, or you usually don't do it that kind of work with the ancestors because the ancestors work through you in doing the work. So you do a lot of venerating and serving the ancestors with that, but you do a lot of working with the saints. Your workings and stuff is probably going to be with these other spirits that the ancestors are supporting you and working with. That's how that works. Rainbow Force said, "What happens to people who use low vibrational spirits to cause harm to others?" They're going to be knocked off balance. They're going to be confused. Usually, when I see people do this and they keep trying to do spells and spells and spells and nothing is working, most of them are going to stay confused until they see a practitioner and tell them what's going on. It's only so far they're going to get in that. I had a one client to come to me. And this is why I say be careful about initiating. I don't even Ancestor said the girl wasn't initiated, but you have some practitioners posing like they can initiate you into something. And so I forgot what it was, some ATR. She thought she was initiated, but I knew she wasn't because I was like, no, because that doesn't go that way. Okay. And she didn't have a close relationship with her ancestors. So she got in there, excuse me, and this young lady who was supposed to be a priestess just teaching her spells. But the spells that she was showing them were all low vibrational. They were just tricks and there were tricks and spell and they were all low vibrational. And this person did not understand the practice and they hit a wall in their practice and they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to get out of that pickle because she thought she was learning something because this person was constantly showing them spells. You get some practitioners like that. I don't know what to say about that. Okay. And she didn't know how, but that's a red flag. If you see that going on, you don't understand the practice and they study showing you how to do, things like that. Then she said that the practitioner said that she wasn't going to be teaching anymore because of the magic she was showing them. She felt like the light inside of her was dimming. So the practitioner knew, the practitioner that was teaching them, she knew after showing them all this dark magic, this stuff, these spells, showing them out of, because she was out of alignment, that it again affected her energy. So she chose not to teach. So she shouldn't have been teaching spells all along. These are people that are not qualified to teach. Okay. They need to get you following the spirit and not no spell. Okay. I can't emphasize that enough for you. You know, I can't emphasize that enough for you. So you need to, and then you have some people that's trying to teach this and they'll get you in the community and they start selling you their products to do the spells. You got people doing that too. You come there to learn hoodoo, but instead they got you buying their products to do the spell they recommended for you. So again, these are red flags. because you need to understand the practice and you need to understand who your ancestors was and how that magic flows to you and how to access it. And I see this going on. That's why I am here and I'm sharing with you and providing you with the community that teaches you to practice so you can have a solid foundation in your work and you'll have a better relationship with your ancestors. But you're going to learn spiritual communication over there. You're going to learn that. It ain't gonna do you no good. You just shooting in the dark. You don't have no spiritual allies on the other side. You need spiritual friends on the other side, not these people. I I can't emphasize that to you enough. These people, the spirits is gonna be the one helping you shake and move. These people, they mean well. We do. We mean well. Okay, we do mean well. However, it is important for you to understand, stop looking at people and start looking at the spirits, because that's who gonna change your life, not these people. Now they can point you and guide you in the right direction, but we're gonna have to do the work. We have to do the work. No one gets out of this without doing some work. And if you think this is some microwave pop in the oven type of stuff, then hoodoo is not for you. Magic, for that matter, is not for you. What they call this magic is not for you. I know what they showing you, and it takes, you have to know how it works. Okay. So again, we're in the winter months. So if we're going in the winter months, what is the best work to do right now? Doing ancestors work, doing shadow work, protection work, uncrossing work, ancestor veneration. Okay, because this is the time of death and rebirth. Winter is the time of death and rebirth, and we're always growing. Now, once we get in the rhythm of this, our magic flows a lot better. And two, I outgrew them, but I feel more alone now. Oh, what is this? I didn't even see this. I feel like I started out with some, but I was told two things pissed them off and they left. I don't know what that means. Your ancestors, I don't know what that means. Who left? Who left? Oh Lord, let me. I'm messing stuff up, y'all. Oh Lord. Okay, stuff is happening here. Okay. Now can I put the thing back down, TikTok? Okay. I don't know if that can even happen. Depends on what you're doing. Now, if you're doing something you ain't got no business doing, and you're working with these high elevated spirits, and you doing regular stuff, they won't support you. They don't do petty stuff. They don't play that. Okay. You can't do regular stuff with these spirits. You can't have no regular table with these spirits. You shouldn't want to. But you got some people that love throwing stuff and all that kind of stuff. They love doing stuff like that. So, but I can tell you right off the bat, when I get to doing something I ain't got no business doing, these spirits get on me right off the bat. That's why a character is good with these spirits. They love to see character. Uh, it's only for so far you gonna get. That's the only thing I can say. Because I know I can't do regular stuff. I don't understand why that would happen. They don't just leave for nothing. They don't just leave for nothing. They don't just leave for nothing. Either you're not one to heal or you're not one to do what they requested. It's something you were doing. Okay? They don't leave for nothing. They don't just leave for nothing. Okay? It's something you weren't doing. You probably want to go back and revisit that. It's something they asked you to do that you did not do. They don't just leave for nothing. So you probably want to go back and revisit that. And some you did. Now you probably don't want to tell me, but you know exactly what it is. You know exactly what it is. Okay? They ask you to do something, do it. We don't want to inconvenience. We don't. A lot of us we don't want to, and they will have you doing stuff that you really didn't think you wanted to do. That's to grow you. Okay? Okay, that's why Miss Penny says start with ancestors and angels. Yes, start with ancestors and angels. They don't just leave like that with these spirits that they want to see. They want to see your character. They want to, again, want you to be interested in seeing yourself in a better light. And the more you can do that, the better they can work with you. Okay? That if you're refusing to heal and look at yourself and do the ego work and all that kind of stuff, well, there ain't no sense in them helping you. It ain't gonna get that far. Okay? And sometimes we get in our own way and we don't see it. I see that a lot of times with me. Okay, the ancestral. I was just talking to I was just talking to an angel the other night. I got so upset. But the angel was basically telling me, look, you getting on my nerves, keep asking me the same question. You already know we here. You're getting a little pessimistic. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, you just gonna say, like, yeah. Because you keep asking me the same question. And we already told you what it is. Why you keep asking us that? You need to get somewhere and go do your part. We know what we doing. You have already requested that. You've done that right. You've done it. You haven't made a mistake. We heard you. Get somewhere and go do something else. Go do something else. Okay? Okay? Did I like that? No. I ain't like that. I ain't like that at all. I was like, damn. Damn. But they wasn't wrong though. I had enough awareness, like, yeah, I have asked them that question 2 or 3 times. So what the hell am I getting out of this? And they keep telling me the same thing. They got me. So now at this point, based the angel saying, now we understood that you asked a question. Now you're worrying. You're asking the question out of worrying, not because you know the answer. You don't know the answer. It's because now you've turned this into worrying. So no, I'm not doing this with you. Get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. Okay. I did that with my ancestors last night. They was talking to me, kind of the same thing the angels told me. You know when it's correct because they'll be saying the same thing. Now after I talk to the angel, I'm talking to the ancestors and say, hey, you getting in your own way. Stop it with the I think I made a mistake, or this other stuff that you got going on. That is the stuff you need to work on now. This right here, it ain't the problem. This is the problem in you. We want you to look at that in you. That's the thing we want you to focus on right now while we do what we doing. Okay? That's going to make this process go a little easier once you do your work. Don't worry about what we doing. Do what we ask you to do. So you'll get spirits like that sometimes, okay? They know what you need to be doing. That's why I stopped questioning. I just moved and just moving, okay? After they have gave you the guidance and told you what they're going to do, again, what they're going to do, your part is to do the inner work, get in alignment with the work that they're doing and stand in it. Okay. Now, had I not, if I go off and try to do something else, that is going to mess everything up. But at least I got sense enough to ask for guidance and not be trying to go out there renegade without some spiritual support or insight. That is the most important thing. Okay. And it's not going to be always what you want to hear. You got to be ready not had I not, if I didn't respect spirit and had I not did the work on myself, some people you could tell them this and they're going to do what they want to do anyway. But I got enough damn sense not to do that, because every time I do that, it turn out raggedy. But you got some people think they smarter than the spirit, but won't help from the spirit. And then when you give them that divine guidance on what to do, they do the opposite, and then they word turn out raggedy, and then they upset. But you had not did if you did what the spirit told you to do, you wouldn't be like that. It's just like that child went about some tarot cards to go take a test. She asked tarot cards, she gonna pass test. Tarot card said, "Nah, baby, you ain't gonna pass test." Instead of her taking the guidance from the tarot card and rescheduled it, she went in there, took the test, flunked the test, and got mad at the damn tarot cards for telling her she was gonna flunk. Now you tell me if that makes sense. You said you wanted the answer, and now you got the answer. You didn't follow the guidance. You flunked the test, and now you mad at the tarot card. See how make that make sense to me? Okay, this lets me know. I'm amazed. Sick or no, me and him laughed about that, and I mean no harm. But I sometimes I'm amazed and drawn back by the stupidity of people. That's why I say everybody don't need to be doing this because your mind is sick. Okay, the tarot cards don't miss. They don't miss. But I'm amazed and overwhelmed by the stupidity of people that want to practice magic or want to practice, tarot and all this. I'm amazed by them. I'm taken back by that. And some of it, I'm just like, what? Like, now you don't need to do this because you're gonna mess this up. Because your perception, all that is kind of, you're not getting this. So you're gonna mess yourself up in here because you don't understand the practice. You don't want to slow down. You don't understand. You got some people like that. I wonder. Do you need to be practice? That's why you need to slow down. If you slow down, you're gonna get better results. Okay. So this is the a good time. Like I said, this season, they're calling it a new year. This is the new time for the rebirth and the death to happen. Okay, we know the new year doesn't happen until the spring equinox when things start springing forward and things come alive. Our ancestors followed the season. It's very important in their work. Hoodoo also works in harmony with the lunar cycles, which influence emotional ties, manifestation, and release. New moons support intention settings, beginning new works, while full moons amplify power, illumination, and spiritual charge. Waning moons are ideal for banishment, uncrossing, breaking habits, while waxing moons help build, attract, and grow what you desire. This is one reason when a full moon is about to come, I like to post it at least a few days before the full moon so you can already start your work. Instead of doing it on the full moon, to do it during the waxing moon. You get a better results in your magic. I know people telling you, "I'll do the work on the full moon." No, 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 no. You understand hoodoo? You should be doing your work 3 days or 4 days before the full moon so it can take its full growth and potential and manifest. Because we're using the energies of the waxing moon to amplify the work. I hope that made sense. Oh, do it when the moon is growing in size. Yes, that's the time to do it. Now, if you're working with the moon and this is full, it's already full, this is the time to do a lot of releasing work. A lot of releasing work, letting go. A lot of people use the full moon to do a lot of banishing work when it's already full. Because again, it's getting ready to wane. It's getting ready to decrease in size as it leaves. Okay. Yeah, decrease in size as it leaves. This is going into another phase. Once it gets full, it's going to go into another phase. What's the next phase? It begins to wane on out. Okay. So that's the best time to do any banishment work, um, any releasing, uncrossing work, um, anything getting rid of something. Okay. So that's the best time to do it. But a lot of people miss that. They tell you, oh, let's do the work on the full moon. No, do it on the waxing moon. 3 or 4 days, get it started. Start your baths and all that stuff up. So by the time it gets to the full moon, your spell it is in full potential. All that energy is built up on it. Now you can release it and let it manifest. Okay. On the full moon, you're releasing it, letting it manifest. It's grown, so now you can release it and let it grow. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay. But we thoroughly go over the moon. It's important for you to understand how the moon works and how it affect uh the plants as well. Because our ancestors they followed this, you guys. I always remember wax on, wax off. That's right. And so again, they followed the moon. And so we thoroughly covered the moon magic. We also covered spirits that you can work with if you're working with the energies of moon, these most of these spirits are divine feminine in nature. So we also cover I'm so sorry, you guys. This cold is almost gone. We also cover moon the spirits on the moon as well. Now, who else is associated with that? I think the Archangel Gabriel is associated with the moon as well. So you can work with her as well, doing your moon work. And again, the idea of hoodoo is to incorporate as many spiritual allies in helping you do your work to put things in your favor. The sun is a photon energy, it gives everything life. But I'm not going to go into that right now. Okay, that's a whole different subject. But we're talking about our ancestors followed the moon. Don't nothing happen without that. This is a hoodoo practice. We do not follow the sun. The most agriculture, matriarch culture, our work, we were planters and gatherers again to stick to the land. You have to follow these moon cycles. Okay, the moon is responsible for the water. Again, what is water? Water is the mother of all living things. Sun, again, that's got associated with the patriarchs. And too much sun will burn something up. Does it have its place? Yes. But even when you see in the almanac, they're following the moon. And some of these planets, they are not following the sun. That solar deity got put in place by the patriarchs to, they it really has nothing to do with me, and I don't gonna get on my soapbox with that. But again, that's just false. Okay, you can see it with your own almanac. I talk to some of these farmers. They ain't following no sun to plant they stuff. They following the moon. The real magic happens when you put it in the ground in the dark. Yep, Crystal hits it right to put. Don't nothing happen if you don't put it in that ground in the dark. Don't nothing grow if it ain't in the dark. Even if it's in the mother's womb, you grew in the dark. You didn't grow in no solar out there in the light. You grew in a dark womb full of water. That's how your magic work. You have to plant it in the dark. That's why I don't advise nobody to come out here and start showing their work. Like, why would you show somebody your altar? Out? What are you doing? Why is you showing putting all your business out there in the street? You might as well stand up in front of us butt naked with no clothes on. If you're gonna show your altar and everything, your business and putting all your stuff in the street like that. Why are you doing it? Your ancestors didn't do that. They would hide their stuff as much as they could. Yep. And for me it's tonight, but yeah, tomorrow is the full moon. We've already posted it. I think I posted it on the 29th. I try to give y'all a couple of days to get prepared for it. So you can start planning. You can already start putting things together. The better you can plan things out. That's why I asked you to get an almanac. Start looking at the seasons and what's coming up and looking at what's going on with you and seeing what work you need to that's going to help you. The more you can plan it out, that's why I tell you stop listening to people. Okay, that's probably not even the work you need to do. If you look at what you need. Stop. Look at you and your ancestors and what's going on with you. Look at these seasons and the energies that you have to work with. Then you can create a work that's designed just for you. Okay, you ain't gonna find it through people, and I know they trying to help you. They mean well, but this is about you. The magic is in you. Miss Penny, are you on Patreon? Yes, I am. The link is in the bio, beloved. You can go directly there now. I've put the link directly in the bio, so you can go directly to Patreon if you're interested in what I'm discussing. Okay, the magic is in you. It ain't gonna be through the other people. You think these other people gonna show you, even when you go in that ATR. I have to say this again. These people are trying to get you to work with a spirit. The initiation is them just showing you a little rituals and you know or helping you make, because basically that's what it is, making you make pacts with these spirits. I don't recommend doing this if you can't be consistent at your ancestor altar. You ain't consistent with working with the spirits that you got. And I don't recommend initiation because you make pacts with these spirits. Agreement. That's a whole nother thing. But you need to get this together first before you run over there and try to get initiated. And some of us, we're not even consistent at our ancestor altar. We don't even know how to properly work our ancestor altar. And you think initiation is going to help you better do that. No. That's really gonna mess you up by skipping the ancestors and going to another land, getting initiated. You don't know nothing about that. Your ancestors didn't even advise you to do that. You're trying to tap into some power. These spirits are not interested in giving you power. That's not how that works. And if you're looking for power like that from a spirit, let me be absolutely clear with you. You ain't gonna be around no people. You're gonna be in solitude with them spirits. You understand me? And you ain't gonna be materialistic. So you know what you asking for. Now you got people jumping over here and these ATRs are trying to get spiritual for power. You're gonna mess yourself up. These spirits are not interested in that. You don't understand what you're asking for. You understand that? Okay? You don't understand what you asking for. You don't understand what that means. Now, power in this world means money. In the physical realm, that means money and all that type of stuff. But if you're seeking for spiritual power, you're going to go in solitude with those spirits. Now, if you seeking physical power, you're going to be in a pack with a spirit, a power, money in this world. You're going to be in a pack with a spirit. And I don't know how that's going to work out for you. So you need to understand what you're asking for. Yep, you become the horse and not the rider. Understand what you're asking for. You understand what you're asking for. I think the correct thing we need to be asking for us to have a more happy, pleasant life, to experience more happiness in our life, to enjoy our life more fully. Those are the things you do because you asking for power, and people think that, and in the ATR, because too, I have to look at it too. ATRs, you are kind of misleading people because you make them think that. You're not telling them that working with these spirits takes development and care. It takes character development, consistency, commitment, and devotion. You have to serve those spirits. It's particular things they have to have there. And if you haven't already integrated a spiritual lifestyle, um, then you're gonna have a hard time making progress over there in the ATRs. I have to give it to you like this because a lot of them it's not explaining it to you like this. And depending on what spirits they have you working with, I don't know because the man in Paulo said he got other dead spirits he worked with, that are not what you in a sense would deem holy. You want to make sure that you understand mediumship and spirits before you get over there. Instead of get over there, you don't know how the spirit of language is. You don't know why you're doing all these rituals. It just doesn't make sense to you. You just going in there like the deer stuck in the headlights, and so that's gonna make your progress over there even more difficult. Okay, I have to explain it to you like that. So really think about initiation. And then you think too that hoodoo don't have initiation. Yes, it do. Because these spirits directly initiate you. That's why ain't no part these spirit with hoodoo because these spirits gonna make you ain't nothing shaking and move. This is the better initiation over here. Okay, because you ain't got no person in the way of your if anybody gonna be in the way, it's gonna be you. You're gonna be the only person in the way of your growth. Because when you make the shifts and changes in yourself, your magic is going to get better. You're going to come in spiritual contact. The spiritual contacts and dreams and things from your ancestors and from these different spirits. Again, the initiation process begins. Initiation means the a spirit contacted you. You initiated the contact, and now you're getting a response. You need to understand that. Okay. So and I know you don't think that, but once you start, you really serious about your practice, and you're following spirit, and you're really listening to them, it's gonna feel like an initiation. You'll be coming to me and say, "Dang, Miss Penny, I mean, this feels like initiation because I'm really having to do work on me. I'm really having to sit down and study. I'm really having to work on me before the spirit will show me these sort of concepts and how to put things together." Okay. Aligning hoodoo magic with seasonal cyclical energy is about working smarter, not harder. When you perform working at the right time, you are tapping into energy that is already moving in your favor. Again, and that's what we want. We want to tilt things in our favor that's already available to us. That's why it's best to go ahead and do a reading before you do any work, looking at the time, the day, really thinking about that work before you just do it tomorrow. Somebody showed you yesterday, so you're going to do it tomorrow. Really think about that. It's things in your favor. Since in doing it, and you put all the energy into it, it ain't gonna do what you want it to do. Okay, so making sure you're looking at that. These again, this is about understanding the practice. And when you follow this book, you're able to slow down and look at some of the things, how you can slowly kind of integrate hoodoo into your everyday life. Like this is a great book for that. I do like the way she put it together. This alignment honors the spirits of the land, the wisdom of our ancestors, and the natural flow of Ashe moving through creation. Ultimately, seasonal hoodoo reminds us that we are not separate from nature. We are a part of nature. It's important for you to understand too. You have to sit back and watch the magic unfold because remember, you are connected with the earth. You're already connected with earth element. And so with some of our humans, because we're in this reality, you have to understand too, working with this energy, it's about more of unfoldment. And what does earth energy do? When we plant something in the ground, it takes for a minute for us to start seeing that plant grow. The same thing with your magic. The same thing with you. Is this making sense to you? I hope I'm not losing anyone. Okay, that's how magic it works. Okay, you planted the seed, and now you have to sit back and watch it manifest. Now, if you sit with plants long enough and you watch them grow, it is a great concept of how your magic grows when you water it and take care of it. You've done what you're supposed to do, and now you sit back and you watch it unfold. Now, you have some people that will do workings for 7 days or 7 days, 13 days, 21 days, depending on the work. You might have workings like that. Hello, Tanya, Charlo. You might have work like that. Okay. And you might have to do it again. But hoodoo works better in layers as well if you plan it out. If you plan on doing baths, fasting is very important too in hoodoo. That can move your work along a lot quicker too. But it takes it again, layering your work again will put things in your favor better. Okay, this is the practice. You'll see this go on, this ongoing practice go on and on when it comes to working with spirits and moving work. And you're seeing a pretty little spell, but usually many of us that's doing the work, we're getting up early in the morning. You're working with some spirit. We're either doing some bath some workings or invocation over the work as it burned. Some prayer work over the work. Okay, we're guiding the work. There's work going on behind the scenes if you really understand the practice. Okay. So a timing is everything, knowing how to time your work. Okay. When we listen to the time of our magic accordingly, our work becomes more effective, more grounded, and more deeply supported by spirit. It reminds us that hoodoo is not something we pick up only when things go wrong. It is a living, breathing practice that keeps us spiritually aligned, protected, healed, and empowered throughout the year. So again, a hoodoo is a way of life. It's a slow way you can integrate this into your life day by day. Do not rush and think that you have to do a whole bunch of spells. No, we just have to become more aware and come up with creative ideas on how we can integrate hoodoo in our everyday life. A lot of prep and cleaning left for that. Yep, yep. Okay. Hoodoo as direct spirit work. This is direct spirit work. We talked about that a little bit in our book. What is that? The Spirit Primer book we just went over. This is direct spirit work. You will be directly working with spirits. I have to say this again. People that calling this magic, you better get used to talking to spirits if you gonna get in hoodoo. Okay, that's all I gotta tell you. I know these folks ain't telling you. I'm giving you the cheat code right now, and I don't think y'all know it. I don't even think you know it because it's been so much confusion. And then I come here and give y'all the cheat code. I don't even think you understand what I'm giving you when I give it to you. You know, I'm giving you a cheat code. I don't even think y'all understand. Some of you understand it. Can I practice hoodoo as a Haitian American? Again, if you were in the diaspora, but y'all, you was under diaspora and you seeing Haitian voodoo and hoodoo cross each other in Louisiana. So I don't see any reason why not. We just went over that. We see voodoo and hoodoo do a cross culture thing in Louisiana. So and then if you practice hoodoo long enough, you're gonna run into voodoo. It's just gonna happen, you guys. It's gonna happen. I can't. There's nothing I can do about that. It's going to happen. Okay, you stand there long enough, you might run into voodoo. Okay, it's real work. There's always fasting, praying, invoking, conjuring, manipulation of energy. Side Rose ain't lying either. You be working over here, and after you see that thing manifest, that little excitement you used to have about magic, you just won't be calling that no more, cause you know what kind of work you done to get that to move, and and then people don't do it no justice and sitting up here calling this magic. And I've had seen people to get results, and they get me on the line and say, Miss Penny, I did this, I did that, and did you know that thing happened? Yeah. What, is this magic? Baby, I don't know. I have to tell them I don't know. Because that when they see it happen, they say, you know, we both questioning, looking at that and saying, okay, what is happening here? Yeah, it's the excitement after you see the work move, but honey, you know it ain't moving. You know you did that work. And you be tired too. Because you have to sit down and regroup after that work. It was all the ashy and energy you put in there. That's why self-care is so important when you're doing this work. You're using a different type of ashe and you're going into a different type of spiritual realm when you start doing this work. So self-care is going to be important. Okay. And people calling this magic, but after you sitting back pushing back plates and getting up early in the morning and you calling down those scriptures and you feel this energy leaving, you know what I'm saying, this ashe that you're using to do this work, honey, you put some work in there. It didn't happen by itself. Okay. I have to get you to understand that. I can't wait to see, when people see it themselves, then they kind of understand. You have to experience to understand what I'm telling you. After you experience, you be like, wait a minute, Miss Penny. You kind of be mad at, at why you didn't know that it worked like this. That's how I was like, how come I ain't know this? How come did nobody tell me? You kind of upset that nobody tell you. Yes, I was tired as hell. I literally just finished the protection work and I'm tired as hell. Yeah, you be tired. Okay? You be tired when you actually doing that work. That's why self care is so important. I had started off with shadow work and then self care. Woo, this started moving so fast. Yes. Okay, so when you do the shadow work, all that stuff, it moves your work faster because again, we're building the inner world. We're refining it. Hoodoo deals with spirit directly without fear, without apology, without separation. It focuses on how your spirit and supernatural spirits interact both positively and negatively, and and how those interactions affect your overall well-being. Okay, so we got to make sure that we're in high vibrations. Um, when we're doing depending on the work that we're trying to do. This is about using energy too. Now, do those emotions, I don't want to get off on another tangent. Do these negative emotions come in handy with doing particular type of work? Yes, they come in handy when you're doing any type of justice work. But then even then it should be approached with care when we're working with that type of energy. I feel I think depending on what you're trying to work with Nat Turner for, especially if you're going to be working with ancestors like Nat Turner, Malcolm X, Tupac Shakur, Asada Shakur. Make sure that you're able to meet your goals with them, and you have your intentions set with them, and then knowing when to release them, uh, release release them from the work when you're done with them. I don't. What I'm saying is, I don't recommend long term work with them. It's good. Yeah, hot energies there. Yeah, that's a hot energies. I recommended you working with them on short term goals and then releasing them because you can find some. Not saying that they're bad ancestors, but because of the energy that they hold, they're not meant to work with long term like that. Only on certain goals, because you have to look at how he passed away as well. Now, will he be good to work with on short term goals when it comes to activism and things like that? When it comes to influencing our culture or something like that, yeah, he'll be good for that. But again, you could only work with some of these, especially when they was revolutionaries like them, like that. They're only meant to be worked with short term. I hope that makes sense. But if you're doing the work with your ancestors, they'll explain this to you. Okay, they explained that the same thing they explained to me when I was looking into Obia. Did no person tell me I ain't want to do that. Even when I was looking at ATRs, did no person help me make up my mind about that. The ancestors let me see that. Let me make up my mind and say, if that now this is what you got to do this. Is this what you want to do? I don't want to do that. Okay then. All right. Well, at least you know what that's about. Okay. You want to do Obia? Okay, let's show you what Obia is about. You say you want to do this, girl. Well, girl, let us show you. And they showed me all that stuff. I said, what? I don't want to do that. Well, okay. Well, at least you know what it's about. Okay, is there if this is what you want to do, but this is what you got to do to get to there. And that will show you. Okay. You won't be too quick. If you really follow the spirit, you won't be too quick to be manipulated and deceived because your ancestors going to tell you the commitment and devotion it takes to get into these practices. If you're listening to your ancestors and not people, stop listening to people. Okay. Even when you get over there with me, I'm gonna have you listen to your ancestors. Even when you get over there with me, I'm not gonna let you do it because I have to get you out of that type of programming. Don't nobody know more than your ancestors. Don't nobody know what's better for you than your most elevated ancestors. So just I have to get you to doing that and get you to trusting the messages that they're giving you and to follow in line with it. That makes perfect sense. I really appreciate you taking the time. You're welcome. Okay. In modern conversation about holistic health, we often hear about mind, body, and spirit connection. Hoodoo has always understood this. Hoodoo's approach to healing and power is propelled by unflinching concern for all matters of spirit. Spirits are not abstract ideas, they are active, present, and involved in their daily life. Everything around you is a spirit, the trees, everything around you. The more you can understand this, again, the better you're going to be able to tap into this magical reality. The more you'll see it uh, sitting on top of this world. Okay. And in fact, nothing in this physical reality is everything in this physical reality is born out of this spiritual reality. Nothing here can exist in the physical realm without the spiritual realm. And so the things that you see in your imagination when you're doing journey work and all that, that is the real world. This is not. The inner world is. That's why I say when you get in and you start practicing the magic, you have to unlearn a whole bunch of stuff. Okay? A whole bunch of crap. Okay? And it takes you a minute to integrate this and start practicing and picking it up. But again, the spiritual world, your imagination, your inner world is the real world. You're constantly seeing this said in the Bible when this so-called Jesus tell you the kingdom of heaven is within you. The temple is within you. All right, you are the God, you are the creator. Okay, and when you start understanding that you are the grand magician in your reality, then things again will get better for you. But again, it's going to take a lot of unlearning, you guys. That's why I don't expect for you to understand this overnight. It's a slow process. And some people they already understand it and they get it and everybody is different, but I don't expect for you to rush through this. The more you slow down with this, the better results you're going to have. It's not about who goes fast, it's about who comprehends it and who can integrate it. Okay, this is why I tell people, if you are afraid to work with spirits, hoodoo is not for you. The easiest way to embrace hoodoo is to understand this truth at your core. You are a spirit. Okay, you're not this physical body. No sense for you to be scared to be talking to spirit. And I understand it in church. Y'all steady calling on Jesus and all these folks that's passed away in this Bible. All these people are spirits, so I understand it. Okay? So I'm scared. Now y'all always talking to dead people. But you're unconscious of it, and then the people that's conscious of it and know, and you keep telling us in your Bible that that's where the south is with the dead people, because you keep talking about them rising from the dead and you keep talking about the dead people. So unconsciously, our ancestors knew when they was talking about this, what they really talking about the ancestors. They letting us know that's where the magic is with the necromancy. They keep telling you that. Okay? And if it wasn't there, if the magic wasn't with with working with spirits, why y'all keep calling on Jesus? I'm gonna make it simple for you. Yep, Psalm of David, spell of David. That's what they doing. They always been doing it. I just seen a video. I think I'm gonna do a commentary on the video. But I just seen a video of these people in church. That's why I tell you, they still doing conjure in the church. They still doing hoodoo in the church, but they ain't calling it that. They had a room full of ushers and bishops and deacons in there making oil, praying over oils and stuff. They praying, conjuring, and all that stuff over these oils. But they ain't gonna call it that. Okay? They ain't gonna call it that in the church. And really, they need to ask that. They need to ask themselves, where did we get this from? If you tell them that they doing hoodoo, they gonna get mad as hell at you. We ain't doing it. Yes, you are. We ain't mad at you. We just telling you what it is. Okay? Your ancestors taught you that. Your ancestors taught you that. And now y'all getting together in there making conjure oils, blessing oils. We're not mad. Just like they was putting them pins in our clothes and handkerchiefs and stuff. Making these little charms and stuff for us. That stuff wasn't Christian. You understand me? You go to school, you got all types of prayer pins and stuff in your coat and handkerchiefs and stuff they didn't put in your coat. They told you, the preacher told us to put this in y'all coat. Honey, we had all types of pins. That stuff was not Christian. Okay. And then you got some of the other churches, they're doing the same thing. Praying over handkerchiefs and stuff and sending it to people. But it started in the black church. It started in the black church, okay? Them playing that you I don't know if you older than me, but I know I can remember my mama putting type of prayer pins and stuff in our clothes, handkerchief. This supposed to protect you. Don't take this off. Okay. Be safety pins. Yep, they've been prayed over. They had all the people sitting on tables making oils. Yep. They sure was that spray conjure. Now, if you was to tell them, that's why I say, don't tell them they did doing hoodoo. Your job is to get in there and try to get the inside information on how it go. Cause see, that's gonna upset them because a lot of them try to get out of there because they were orchestrized for that. Okay, so that's why I tell you a lot of them didn't call it hoodoo. This is what these folks that's looking at us doing stuff. That's what they calling it. This is a way of life for us. This is ancestral, was passed down, the magic passed down. A lot of us, our ancestors didn't call it that. Okay, so if you want to get the 411, you probably want to be sitting in there in there with them when they're doing it and asking questions because they love when you ask questions because they think you're trying to get close to the Lord. This child trying to get close to the Lord. Let's teach her this. Let's teach this child because this child's got, oh Lord, that's what they're gonna tell you. They love that. They love that. And you let them think that, okay? In a sense, that's what you're trying to do. Okay, like when you're interested, because you know what they love young folks to be interested in what they doing. So if you act interested, they would love to show you. I'll be trying to get that recipe for the oil. See, that's what I'll be trying to do. Yes, you know, and they love that. Old folks love that because they say more young people need to get close to the Lord. So they see you like that. Get close to them. Be trying to learn. Don't tell them what it is. Just tell them, like, I just been moved. I think God trying to tell me I need to learn this because I might need to learn. And when they hear you talk in their terms, okay, let them know what God. Grandma. I think God is trying to show me some of the things He done showed you because I know He done showed you some things. So I need to be learning some of the things God done showed you. Okay. And when you start seeing it, you're gonna see it's gonna be some of them gonna be hoodoo. They not gonna say that, and don't you tell them that. Okay, don't tell them that. You're there to get the wisdom. That's it. It's them who gave them the recipe. Yep. Yes, Lafayette. I have my pen and paper out ready for them too. Okay. So when you see them doing, and it's in the church, but a lot of them, they're not calling it that. But it was like to see that video and them doing, them getting them conjure. I mean, they was praying too. You got the preacher, they got their little herbs and oils, and they saying they little hymns because they know that again, this liquid in there it holds memory and these herbs. So they're conjuring over all that. They doing all that in their church. Now, if you was to tell them they was doing hoodoo, honey, they'll call you the devil. You better get out their faces. That's not what they doing. They serving the Lord up in there. You don't know what you're talking about. Let them do that, okay? Let them do that. You're not there to correct them and tell them what they're doing. You're up there. You're in there to get the ancestral knowledge so it's not lost. It's not your job. They've been doing that a whole bunch of years. You can't change them. They have integrated it into Christianity, and now they think it's Christian. Okay, let them think that. Okay, you're there to preserve the knowledge, and that's it. Then using the song, what's what I said, and using the palm leaf when Palm Sunday comes around. The man was walking around the table saying prayers that wrapped around the oils in them jars. I'm telling you. And they know that's not, that come from your ancestors. That is hoodoo. But you better not, don't tell them that, okay? We don't want to upset them. We just want to get the knowledge. So you see a lot of them that's in the church. You'll see that too in some of the churches, especially. I heard somebody say, "Well, we still do that in the Church of God in Christ and the Catholic Church. They're just hiding it." You won't know until you are a longtime member of these churches, or you go to one of their activities. The conjuring and the ancestral knowledge that they're doing is probably going to be in the Bible study or in uh, an intimate session with them. You're not going to see it on Sunday morning service. You're not going to see it there, but you will see it like on Wednesday night prayer. If they have men's night or women's night or prayer night, you're probably going to see it then. They're very careful about how they expose it. Okay. And some of them know that they're doing it. Some of them, hey, they have Christianized it and make it look Christian. Okay, but you're not going to know it until you start attending the church. Is it in all the church? No, and I think the church has lost sight too at the fact that some of the things that they're doing is ancestral. They don't realize it. It just got passed down to them, and so now they think it's Christian because it's been passed down for so long. So when you give them the proper education on it, it upsets them. Okay, because they're having to unlearn something that was told to them that was this and now it's not that. So it's just better not to tell them that and just preserve it and document it. I hope that made sense. Because some of them, they are doing conjuring hoodoo in the church and they think it's Christian. And I think that was a way the ancestors try to protect them because we were so orchestrated by our spiritual practices. uh we just, it was better if we thought it was Christian or make people think that it was Christian or called it by a Christian name to stop people from trying to judge us or ridicule us. Okay. And it can be shocking to them when you're calling it that because they were orchestrated for that they were, you know, almost lynched for some of this stuff. So when you go do that, it kind of re-traumatizes them. So that's why I say, now that I know better, because the ancestors have taught me better now, it's just better to sit back and learn and document instead of telling them what it is or calling it witchcraft, because that's what they're gonna think that you're doing, that you're calling it witchcraft, and that's not that. You're gonna piss them off, so don't do that. Okay, and please don't do that. Just document. Okay, I had to learn the hard way. I'm trying to help you. Okay. We will exist as pure spirit, pure energy, just as our ancestors do now. So you might as well get used to talking to spirits, communicating with spirits because you are a spirit. And most of the spiritual communication, I know you're going to think it's going to be spooky, but spirit speaks to us in subtle language. That's why it's important for you to slow down, get your nervous system together, and understand how your mind and your emotions work. If you don't understand how your mind and emotions work and you haven't did a lot of healing, that you're going to be missing a lot of spiritual contact and communication. Okay. We also recommend over there, and I'm thinking about starting it up again this year. I might do a poll to see if we want to do another tarot card workshop because we went over divination, and the only one I'm good at, well, I got two, is dowsing and tarot readings. Okay, so I'm thinking about doing another workshop where and it's free. It comes with the your membership, but I'm thinking about doing it again because we got new people in there. So I don't know if you want to strengthen that to help your communication with your ancestors. So I'm thinking about doing another poll on tarot. Very subtle is softer than my own inner voice. Yes, it is. Okay, it's not loud. You think the spirit's gonna come down, kicking down the door and all this kind of stuff? No. Only time I see that happens is you're in distress or you need protection right away. Then that you'll see them, speak loudly. But other than just giving you messages and stuff like that, you have to get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. Stop listening, asking people about your stuff. Sit there and hush your mouth and listen. Because you've been getting the messages. And I promise if you come over there with me, I'm gonna point you to it. I'm not gonna let you miss it. I have some people, some of our practitioners, they have talked to their ancestors out loud and got a definite answer. Okay, they'll try to skip back past it, and I would say no. They just gave you an answer. Stop trying to make that something else. They just said that just happened. Okay, the whole lights went off when you said you was gonna do this, and that was your ancestors telling you no. That was you're not gonna do that. That's what that means to me. I don't know what it means. Yes, you do know what it means. You ask for a sign, that gonna give you a sign. Take the answer. Okay, my situation needs a lot of protection. So yes, Miss Penny. Okay, and I'm compassionate to the fault. So I need it to be loud. Okay. They'll probably keep showing you something over and over again. And maybe that's your lesson too. Why does it need to be loud? And maybe there needs to be some healing, some boundary stuff that's going on too. We're letting people misuse our energy. That's what I hear that. Okay. Need to have better. It's okay to say no sometimes. It's okay to say no. Okay. So that's what I'm hearing too. You probably need to, say no sometimes. This is why let me see. This is why I often tell people if you are afraid to work with spirits, hoodoo is not for you. The easiest way to embrace hoodoo is to understand the truth. At your core, you are a spirit, and one day you will not have a body. We will exist as pure spirit and energy. You're not going to always have this body, it's very temporary. This book gently but firmly brings you into an understanding that through daily engagements rather than overwhelming instruction. Okay? Spirit is everywhere you look. I think when we go through our materials, our resources on animism, it gives you a better understanding. Yes, I just passed that test too. It wasn't easy. I know, baby. I'm so sorry. It hurts, when you have compassion for people, you really want to help people. It's hard to tell people no. Let me blow my nose, you guys. It's hard to tell people no. It hurts our soul because we so used to being yes people. But you have to tell them no. You have to tell them no sometimes. Hold on, you guys. Okay, there we go. I'm healing, you guys. It's better than it was the last time. Okay, so you have to tell them no as much as we want to tell them yes, because I hear the voice being louder and I feel it on my ear when I'm in a moment between up and sleep. Okay, okay, saying no is such a liberating feeling. It is, and not having to explain, placing boundaries with people, because again, you start really uh treasuring your energy, taking care of yourself, and not letting people, your energy is not leaking all over everywhere. Okay, and you're not letting people extract it. Okay, you're putting it, they know you're not the place where they can come extract energy from, so that's a very good thing. Okay, does it hurt because you've been such a yes ma'am or a yes man or a yes woman? Yeah, because it's going to feel abnormal to you because you're doing something that you're not used to doing it. But the more you start practicing boundaries, the more healthier it's going to feel. But it's not going to feel good at first. No, it's going to feel awful at first. Okay, because something you're not used to. Many traditional indigenous belief systems recognize spirits as lively, intelligent, and present in all things. Hoodoo shares this worldview. Spirits are everywhere and in everything under the sun. Our Mother Earth is infused with spirit. Her plants, her stones, her trees, her animals, her minerals. You'll see that too when you get in the curios. I think that's when you really start to see how closed hoodoo is when we start looking at the curios. Okay, but you'll probably go through that much later in the middle of your practice when you've got a more solid foundation when you get to working with curios. And even in natural phenomena like lightning, raining, and running water, this universal life force is known as Ashe, the divine animating power that moves through all creation. 365 days of hoodoo helps the practitioner reconnect with Ashe through intentional daily acts, reminds us that magic is not separate from life itself. Hoodoo is all about using natural energies around us to gently tip the scales in our favor. That's what we're doing. So if you're not in an alignment with the work, that's just like you want to find this particular good job and you're doing this work, but you ain't put in no applications. You ain't got no company in mind. You don't have nothing. How is that gonna come in your favor? You got none of that going on. Then that's not gonna happen. I'm reading 365 Days of Hoodoo, and I have it here on my notes. So I'm looking at my notes, and we're going over 365 Days of Hoodoo by Stephanie Roseberg. Okay. So again, nothing is going to tilt in your favor if you're not in alignment with the work. Because you have some people that you want you want something to come out of air, and you have nothing to work with. You have nothing spirit to work with. You haven't did any work. It doesn't work like that. Okay. It doesn't work like that. It has to be again. It's about tilting things in your favor. So once you start going in doing the application work, all the energies, all the attraction, all the magnetism is there for you to get things tilted in your favor. But if you have not did the work, spirit ain't got nothing to work with. Faith without works is dead. It just ain't gonna work. I'm diving into my hoodoo practice this year. Glad to be here. Okay. And we have a wonderful little book for you guys that just starting your year off right. That's why we're going up with 365 days of year of hoodoo. So again, you can start integrating in your everyday life. Okay, this is a good little reference book for you to have. Hey, hello, time stamping army. This is a good little book for you to have. And you're saying, "Huh, I don't know how to even get started with this." This is a great book for that. Okay, to get you in alignment with doing for some of the work, to prep you for it, to give you a greater understanding. Okay. So some workings are not meant to manifest overnight. Certain intentions may take an entire season to fully unfold. Understand that too. I had some practitioner. He said he had did some work from this lady, and Lord, I probably wouldn't have even did that work, honey. But he said he had did some work for this lady, and the lady got on the phone. That's why usually if you're a practitioner in our community and you're going to be doing work for people, please don't do work for them without giving them work to do. Because if you don't, they're going to get on your nerves. If you're a practitioner in our community and you know you're going to be doing work for people, give them something to don't tell them you're going to do their work because they're going to get on your nerves and calling you. And they need to be helping you in the first thing. They need something to do with that extra energy they sitting there worrying, trying to get on your nerves about. They need to channel that energy in helping you move the work. So give them something to do. Okay? I'm gonna recommend that to give them some, whether it's cleansing, a bath, burning the candle. They need something to do so they get off your nerves. They need to be doing some work too, because you're doing it for them. They want it to work. Now let get them some work to do. I've been going through a spiritual battle. I dream things, but I've been off here lately. Oh, okay. Well, you probably want to again, if you're interested in looking at more to that, a book or reading with me. Maybe we can give you some insight on that. We can see what's going on with that. But again, give them work to do. The man said he did the work and the woman was rushing him about doing the work. He said it's gonna work. But she wasn't getting it fast as she wanted to, and she wanted to. And but 6 months later, the spell worked and she called him and said, "Oh, it worked. I'm dead. Da 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 da." Okay. So give it work. Sometimes it depending on the season and depending on the work. And that's why you'll see if we really wanted to move, that's why you see ancestors doing some work 7 days in a row, 13 days in a row, 21 days in a row. Sometimes they'll start it back over and do it again. They know it's going to manifest. Okay. There's no doubt about it. The thing is, it's just, again, because everything grows in the dark and it starts to unfolding. And so, what you noticed about magic too, when you see it work, because this is what trips you out. It be events and unfoldings that get you. You be like, damn, that's crazy that happened. But I got what I wanted. But the way it happened, these events, the way they line up, I just had somebody. She was talking about how she worked with Saint Expedite. She needed $2,500. See, this is what happens when you start working with these saints and spirits. You can't plan it out, so don't even try to plan it out. They just got a funny way of doing things. Saint Expedite, she wanted to get out of this lease. And so she worked with Saint Expedite. Saint Expedite, he's good for helping you do moves, getting fast money, and things like that. And we give you all the tea on Saint Expedite when you get in there, because we know at some point, uh to help you with your magic, you're probably gonna be working with a spirit. So we give you all the access to that. So she said she worked with Saint Expedite, and this is what Saint Expedite did. He put her in contact with the friend that would help her take over the lease. So she didn't have to pay that $2,500. This friend took over the lease and she ended up getting some extra money. Somebody gave her some extra money when she was hanging out with us other friends. So she got that and then some extra. And so so this is how these spirits work. See how that unfolded and shifted for her. And you be like, damn, like it trips you out when it happens. Because you couldn't have made that up. There's no way you could have planned that. So the way they will orchestrate things, you just have to sit back and watch it happen. Okay. And it would trip you out when it happened. And she did what she was supposed to do. After Saint Expedite does that, you have to publicly thank him. Leave his offering. He wants to be publicly thanking. Now, a lot of these spirits are like that. Some of the archangels are like that too. You think you're going to have to give them an offering, and some of them you do. Some of them they have particular things that they want you to give them offerings on. You'll know. But for the most part, with angels, they want you to tell everybody that they want to work with them. That's their offering. They want you to tell them how you work with them and how they help you, and that they're willing to help humans in magic, because not a lot of humans work with angels. You see a lot of people, they start running to work with demons and goetic spirits and other spirits, but a lot of people don't really talk about the benefits of working with angels. And a lot of them know too, you can't be raggedy working with them. They're all about self-improvement and healing. Okay. But they do help you in your magic, but it has to be in your highest good. And a lot of people don't want to do that because they can't really manipulate angels like that. Okay. But that's the angels, that's how they want to be paid. Or that's the offering. They want you to tell people what they do and how they do it. They want you to tell them people about their attributes and what they do. They love working with humans. Angels love it. Okay. But that, even that is a science with that, because you only keep, what I've noticed about angels, you're only gonna be able to work with the ones you can reach the frequency. And it's just like that. All angels won't be able to work with you. You'll have particular angels that you can again dial into their frequencies. Those are the ones that you'll be easily to work with. A lot of people like working with Metatron. He seems to be a popular angel. Michael. Michael is a popular angel to work with as well. Okay, I know I see those get worked with a lot. There might be more in there, but you'll have some angels too. The freak, and it's nothing that you did wrong. Okay, it's just that you can't transmit or broadcast into their frequency, so you will be limited in how they can share information with you. And then you might find in your practice later on, you're able to reach their frequency and dial into that angel. But you can also bypass that too is by working with the angel Raziel. Raziel can kind of help you with some of that. Okay. So I'm gonna get out. I like when you said choose the angel of your zodiac. Yeah, I really provide you to choose the angel of your zodiac because you're on that frequency already. That's the frequency and energy that you was born in. So, and I usually recommend that you work with the angel of your zodiac before you do anything because that's over again. That's the angel presides over the season that you were born in and the planet. Okay. Oh, because the Shamar Latrice said that works for them. Okay, great. And that's what I recommend you. You find they're easy to work with. Then you'll work with some angels. You think that they can only do that. I had another practitioner. She was working with one angel. She said, Miss Penny, he do this, this, and that too. I was like, really? She was like, yeah, because he told me he can help me with that, and he helped me with that too. So you'll work with some angels, and they'll tell you, and it is not going to be in the book. Once they can trust you and gain gain more trust from you, they'll say, okay, we can help you with that too because we know you need that done. And then they'll show you, they'll give you different operations or inside information on how to use the energy and how to call them. But this is only going to be done when you have established a relationship with these spirits. And you'll know because it'll be right. You'll be comprehending what they're telling you. And this is how a lot of these angels work. They're going to work through your mind. But okay, I love working with angels, especially Archangel Michael. See, Shamar Latrice, good to know. I'm researching, I'm working with my mine now. Okay. So that's the main thing we do is get you working with these archangels. And that, again, we set out again because I and you have a book there too, honey, that we name every angel. You have an angel encyclopedia. I had to look at that book the other day because I was looking doing some research on one angel. And I was like, I want to know more about this angel. So I looked in that book. Okay. You have also have the other book that talked about sages, saints, and things in that book. It even shows you how to set up a table to these spirits. Okay. You'll see in these books they're telling you how to set up tables and they're showing you how to set up altars to work with these spirits. What do you think of 12 African Yoruba gods that correspond with the zodiac too? What do I think about that? A Saturnal is calm, is asking me that. My thing, when you start going in that direction, because you're saying African here. Usually, when we start working with deities, I like to let the ancestors lead you on that because now that's ancestral, and it was going to take some ancestral guides to help you do that type of work. Okay, usually it never fails. If you're supposed to be working with the African deity, indigenous deity, the ancestors, they're really good about setting it up for you. Okay. I really like that. That's the safest route to do that. And then you get more clarity when your ancestors set that up. Because all of it's ancestral in the first place. And every time I've wanted to work with an ancestral spirit, such as a voodoo spirit, um, or the Orishas or something like that, they have usually set that up for me. Okay. If you sit there and you'll be doing it right, you'll be doing it right. If they want you to do that, you'll start running into them and they'll become running up in your dreams and stuff. It never fails. If you're doing this work, you're going to get a sign for spirit to work with different spirits. And usually if we're working with voodoo and all that, that's why I say that's when it becomes closed. It becomes closed when you start following ancestors because they'll have you working with spirits and telling you stuff about spirits nobody else knows. Yeah, the Encyclopedia of Mystic Saints and Sages. Really good book. They lay all the groundwork for you. They even talk about some of the uncanonized saints and some of the spiritual practices, and they mention hoodoo as well. Like there's no book. That's why I said we can look at all these books because a lot of them A lot of the North American people that practice folk magic, your hoodoo is gonna be front and center. Cause I'm telling you, we put power in a religion. Okay? I have to keep telling y'all that. Their religion didn't have no power till we put them ancestors in it. We practice their religion better than they did. Okay? These people faking and jiving. We put some umph on it. Okay? We made it work. We put some sparkle on it and we made that work because they weren't doing it right. Okay? I'm looking at these comments, you guys. I'm so sorry. We'll check that out. Is that Patreon community? Yes. I think it is in the Patreon community, Angel Working Zodiac Connection. Okay. So again, that's why we get you to, if you're gonna be working with the African deities, and you'll see that too. We go through that very thoroughly there. Okay. We cover everything over there. I try not to miss anything. And I'm thinking too, do I need to review some of these things for refreshers to help people in their practice? Okay. So again, this is about alignment, aligning yourself up with these natural energies, aligning your energy up with these natural energies so your magic can flow a lot better. Hoodoo is not about big dramatic changes. More often it works through subtle shifts, quiet openings, and gradual unfoldings that are deeply powerful. That's how you see it work. It trips you out when it work, you be like, what the when you see it happen, you're looking for something big to happen, but usually this help with shifts and changes that you couldn't even imagine. It was dropped on December 2nd. Okay. And Secret, no, he keep me straight. Okay. He said it was dropped on December 2nd. And so we have a lot of insight, a lot of reference books to help educate you on different spirits, uh, workbooks on how to set up your altars and how they should look. These spirits' attributes, how to invoke them, what they like. I'm just very thorough with that because you need to know. Okay, so there's no sense in if you don't know how to do this. I just make it very easy for you, give you all the information. But for the most part, you should not. The first table should be setting up working with is your ancestors, not no other spirit. Your ancestors, your most elevated ancestors are the guides in your practice. That's what makes hoodoo work. Okay? We don't jump over there in the ATR because somebody told us that these spirits gonna do everything for us and all that stuff. What I don't like about this ATRs is that when you tell people this, this is ancestors. You know it's ancestral. And you know that the ancestors have the say in them to be initiated because you're supposed to align them with their ancestors before you even initiate them. You're supposed to do a divination and see if their ancestors, most elevated ancestors, want them in there. You're not supposed to initiate it because they want to. You have to initiate them because you have to get permission and put them in alignment with their ancestors before you even initiate them. Even that is a process. That's how it's supposed to be done. How do you know the most elevated ancestor? You may not even know their name. That's not important. Their name's been lost in time. So some of their names you won't even know. The only thing you need to be knowing that you're intentional about calling on your most elevated ancestors. Some of them might share their name with you. If you so hung up on names, you can start working with them to try to learn some of their names. That's not important here. The most important thing is we start making contact with them. Now, if you want them to start revealing names to you, then you will work in the capacity and ask them to start revealing their names to you if you want to know. Okay. The name part is not that important. And I think people are getting caught up in names because again, you want to link this with recent family members. I highly discourage, and I'm gonna say this again. Not enough people. I highly discourage you to work with immediate family because most of them was wounded and were not healed. That's why we sitting up here doing shadow work, trying to reconnect ourselves with our ancestors so we can heal some of that stuff out. Some of your recent family members didn't even like you. Why would you put them on your altar? Some of your recent family members were so tired and weary, they worked their whole life. And now you're going to slap them on your altar and have them work for you. You didn't even ask them nothing. You just said, you're going to work for me. Why would you do that? Why would you assume that they want to work with you? Them ain't going to be the ones working with you. I'm going to let you know that right now. Very rarely are there recent family members. And when there are recent family members that work with you, they're only going to do particular things. And they're going to tell you that too. They're going to say, we're going to only help you with this. And they'll tell you, no, we can't help you. The recent family members, they'll tell you when they can and can't, ain't going to do nothing for you. I'm letting you know that right now. Anybody that work with a family member, and you're going to pay them too. That it is personality don't change. They had the same personality. If they was tired and they didn't take no bull crap, and they meant what they said when that same personality don't change. If they ragged when they passed away, they're gonna be raggedy, a raggedy spirit to work with. They not all of a sudden elevated because they passed away. No. It's important for you to understand that. That's why I recommend that practitioners say your most elevated ancestors and not your family members. And don't assume they're just gonna work for you. Now, if they want to work with you, they'll start coming in your dreams and telling you they want to help you with this. And they usually family members, they have particular things they want to help you with. They're not gonna help you with everything. Okay. What about parents who was blessed in life but also had a hard life who loved me dearly? Again, ask them. Don't make assumptions. Ask them. Ask them what they're willing to help you with. Don't make assumptions that they're going to help you with everything. Now, your most elevated unknown ancestors, they've been elevated to have enough power and strength to help you in all your workings. Family members, they're only going to have, especially if they're recent family members, that because they still growing, their life still moves on. They just transition. They got other things they got going on. They ain't gonna be able to do a lot of work for you. They got they growth and development and all that stuff goes on the spiritual realm. They not gonna be stopping what they doing to help you with everything. That's probably not even a part of their spiritual development and growth. Okay? They probably assigned to something else. So they can't come and help you with everything because they probably are finishing some things up that they didn't learn in their physical life. They're probably learning on the other side. It's a whole different world. Life still goes on. Ain't nobody just sitting there with their eyes closed, not doing nothing. No, they ain't with them spirit. They got a whole life over there. They just ain't got no body no more. I've had an ancestor ask me to be in the altar and apologize, excuse themselves for a way they showed alive. Yep, you'll have them doing that too. You'll have some of them apologizing and wanting to do some work with you as a means. You'll have that too. They'll do particular work for you, but have discernment when you do this. Understand that if they was raggedy, they family members, they hard working, they were weary people before they passed over. That's how they're gonna be in the spirit realm. And that's not the spirits we want work. We want them to rest. We want them to take the time to be elevated in the spiritual realm before we even start calling on them. They need to mature on that side first and learn some lessons before we have them in our workings. And I know a lot of people saying family members. No, let them people. Do you know the stuff? Look at what you're going through right now. Look at what you're going through right now. Okay, and then you pass away tomorrow. You done worked, you done did everything in this system, and then you pass away tomorrow, and somebody put you on the altar and say, "We need you to go do this and that." Is you gonna like that? Is you gonna like that? You done worked all your life, and then you ain't been passed away for 3 years, and somebody done put you on that altar and want you to do all this stuff. Do you think you gonna like that? They ain't asked you, they told you. Do you think you gonna like that? Answer that for me. Somebody they ain't asked you nothing. They just told you what you were gonna do, and you passed away. You worked all your life worried about this and that and that, and you couldn't wait to stop working. And here you is, your family member put you on the altar and say, "We want you to do this." They ain't asked you. They ain't petition you. They just told you. They just assumed that this is what you supposed to do. Do you think you gonna like that? Do you like when your kids volunteer stuff for you and you ain't said you wanted to do that? And they used to make me so mad when my kids said, "Mama, I told my friends you was gonna take us to the movies." What? Yeah, yeah. When y'all going right now? Well, wait a minute. Do you think I'm gonna like that? Use some common sense now. Now, will you have family members that help you? Yes, I'm not saying they're not gonna help you. I'm saying they're not gonna help you with everything, and they're not your slave, and don't assume that they're there just to work you and serve you. You have to build a relationship with them. Especially you ain't talked to them, you never spend no time with them, or none of that. Do you think they're gonna come to your aid? Let's use some common sense here. There's still boundaries and things that goes on in the spiritual realm, the same that go in the physical realm. So don't just assume just because they're your family, them they're supposed to serve you and help you. No, you ask them, you develop a relationship with them, especially that you ain't had no relationship with them. You wasn't studying them or none of that stuff. You never went to go see grandma. You never did. They gave her no attention. You never did take her to the store and do nothing to her. But now you want to slap grandma on the altar to work for you. Really? Every time she called you, you made up excuse why you couldn't help her. That's what I said. Power up on that right there. Power up in nature. It hit the nail right on the head. The spirit of entitlement. Nah, you ain't entitled to work with them. And don't do no spirit like that. Don't assume. You got some people up here calling on the shoulder. You really think that the spirits like Oshun and all of them want to talk to you when you ain't got no relationship with your ancestors, and all that was created from ancestors. You think these spirits want to work for you? You don't even honor your ancestors and your own spirits. How you think you're gonna work with that? You can't stay committed and devoted to an ancestor altar. You can't even stay devoted and committed with cleaning that up and serving your ancestor altar. How you gonna go over there and serve Oshun, Ogun, Shango? How you gonna do it? And all of this is ancestral now. Them spirits don't want to hear nothing you gotta say. I'm telling you that right now. You ain't even got right with your folks. You won't even work on yourself. You want to be Oshun, but you scared and got poor boundaries and all this kind of stuff. You a pushover and all this kind of stuff, but you want to embody this. But you don't want to do no shadow work. You don't want to get over there with your ancestors and kind of figure out why y'all got this going on with y'all. It's got to make sense, you guys. You think you're reaching for power, but you don't understand power until you have to put in that work. And when you see what it all entails, you're gonna get somewhere and sit down and be quiet and be grateful for what you do have. I promise. And I know these people making it look like it's X-Men or something like that. Uh-uh. Okay. And so again, hoodoo is about unfoldings. It's about shifts, and and you when you see it happen, you see it unfold, you be like, wow, wow, this really worked. It happens at the most unexpected time, and it be the most unexpected shifts that happens. But you know it was your magic. You had some spiritual assistance with getting things in your favor. So that's how it would happen. And you be so happy when you see it. Okay. This is something that truly has an experience. You truly have to be experienced to be fully understood. Once you begin to witness these shifts in your life, in your own life, you may even start to question what magic really is. Okay, until you start seeing it for yourself, you see all these shifts and changes. I had somebody in my community. She didn't know why she was seeing it. If something had an ancestor work, she said, "You know what? I know this is a sign." I was talking about moving and doing something. She said, and she went to the window. She saw three people going down the street dressed in red and black, and she knew immediately that it was a message from Elegba because she noticed the colors. And so she was like, "I know it was something." She said, "I even showed my husband." And so she was telling me about it. And then said, "Ask her what she was thinking about. Ask her what she was thinking about and what she was doing." And so she got telling me what she was thinking. I said, "Oh, you was getting ready to make a major decision. You're at a crossroads. That's why them spirits showed up like that. And they'll show up like that." Okay, so some crossroads spirits showed up, the perfect image of the crossroad energy. There was a little child there that were dressed in red and black, and then she said all of a sudden they just turned back around and walked back down the street. Okay, but she was thinking about again a crossroad in the decision, and those spirits popped up. But she knew immediately it wasn't. She knew spirit was trying to tell us something because the way they were dressed and the things that they were doing. She knew that spirit was trying to tell us something. She just didn't understand what it was telling her. And then I had to go in and ask her, okay, that means something because she couldn't put it together. And sometimes when you get other eyes on it, you can get more clarity on it. And I said, "Wait a minute, what were you thinking about?" And she said, "Hey, I was thinking about moving here and doing this and doing that." I said, "Okay, those are crossroads spirits, and you're at a crossroad. You're trying to make a decision about changing your whole life. You're doing a whole move. So yeah, these spirits did show up for that." Okay, sometimes they just automatically show up and trip you out when it happens. Like I said, the ancestors always know what they're doing, even if you don't have access because of the way hoodoo was constructed. That's the only thing I can explain it because it happened to me so many times. These spirits will pop up. The ancestors know what they're doing. They'll even have you working with certain deities. If it's something that you're trying to do, they'll have you going to the railroad track, working with that Ogun earned energy. They might even send a person to represent it, you know, in your path. You'll see that sometimes. It was at the crossroads, okay? It sounds like Papa Leg was trying to get her. That's what I told her. So again, you'll see these crossroads, and that's why you see voodoo jump into hoodoo. Cause I'm like, I didn't call them in there. Ancestors did it. Okay, they know what spirit you need to be working with. That's why you need to be closer to them. And you will get exposed to it. Why wouldn't you be exposed to it if it's in your bloodline? Make it make sense. The spirits don't change because you don't know the name. The ancestors know. That's all that matters. And we have to get you to look at voodoo and Ifa. Got to get you to look at that to understand the spirits in hoodoo. Because in the beginning, they kind of lost their names because they had to hide under Christianity. So we have to look at those diaspora systems. They're still our ancestors, no matter where they was. It still happened to our ancestors. And the spiritual concept seems to be almost identical or the same. Okay, so you'll see that happen. Can't tell you it ain't gonna happen because it might happen. It's in your bloodline. I don't can't tell you that ain't gonna happen. Okay, the more aligned we are, the more we align ourselves with nature, the more harmonious our lives become. It'll start healing your life. The more in alignment that you get, the better your life gonna get. You'll see more positivity come into your life. You're gonna experience more happiness. And a lot of what goes on when we first get in this practice is we're out of alignment. I noticed that about a lot of us. Once we get in alignment and we get in the rhythm and flow of nature, things your life will just start healing. And then your magic get better. You get a chance to slow down and choose the magic that you want to practice to see shifts and changes in your life. Okay? Hoodoo teaches us to move with the rhythms of Earth rather than trying to force outcomes. Just as Earth moves through seasons and cycles, so do we. So you might do some work right now uh, that may not even manifest until the spring. It doesn't mean that the spell didn't work. That means that the spell will take fruition at its proper time, depending on the spell work. Okay, so understanding that spells move in cycles and harmony doesn't mean that it don't work. And if you think magic, any magic for that matter, I think any longtime practitioner, if you think that all your spells gonna manifest overnight, then you need to you need to get out of this because that ain't what that's gonna happen. That's not what's gonna happen. It's not gonna manifest overnight. Okay. And another thing I want to talk about too, I think people are getting stuck at too. Yes, your voice is powerful and it has a frequency and it can move things. And yes, songs are very good for that. But there needs to be some ritual going on with your talking. You need to be putting some action, some umph behind what you're saying. It does no good for you to be saying this, and if you don't know what it means, and you're not putting any ritual, no umph behind what you're saying. Because these spirits want to see you mean what you say. And when they see that you mean what you say, then you get movement. But they got to trust you. It definitely takes time. You have to be patient with this work. You do. I'm going through it right now, you guys. I'm not exempt. This spirit, I just told you how these spirits told me you need to get somewhere and sit down and stop getting off our nerves and do your part. Now I got to sit up here and do my inner work, figure out, you know, why I think the way I think and change my thinking. And honey, I have to call on them to help me to change my mind. Help me with my mind, cause my mind is not. Y'all just said my mind went right. I need y'all help to help me fix my mind. Okay, sometimes you have to work on your mind while you're That sometimes it be your thinking that mess up your stuff. And that's what my ancestors told me. You get on our nerves too much, you worry too much, and that's what's messing you up. You need to be focused on building your faith and why you don't have faith and why you think you can't do stuff right. You've been doing stuff right so long. This is your problem. Okay? We know what we doing. This is you. Okay? And now I gotta get somewhere and sit down. Did I like that? No. I didn't like that. I didn't want to hear that. But I know they weren't lying. Okay? I know they ain't lying. So now I gotta get somewhere and sit down and get myself together. As I say, none of us perfect. This ain't about being perfect. This is about using discernment and knowing and doing your part. And when you're doing that, you're doing good. Okay? So now I gotta go sit down. Yeah, so they really said go sit down. Yep. That's what they told me. Go sit down, be quiet. Stop coming over here asking the same thing, okay? So you said don't put our ancestors on an altar who don't expect them to work for you. Thanks. What I'm saying is that please don't put recent family members on your altar expecting them to work for you. If they ain't ask you that. They didn't ask you that. Don't assume. Ask them. Ask them what they're willing to help you do. But some of them, what I found when we do this, let me say this again, and I see it all the time when people put recent family members, because some of you had volatile relationships that were abusive, they didn't have a time to heal. And you think that changes after they pass away. No, they still the same regular people, bless their heart. It will again have you thinking cloudy. Your nervous system is going to be messed up. You're going to be confused. Your communication is going to be muffled. You ain't going to know which direction you are on your healing journey. they can bring more confusion and more miscommunication than help. This is why I tell you this. And most time when I people come to me and they tell me this, and I have them to recalibrate their altar and take all the pictures off, say a prayer for those ancestors, because you only supposed to be praying for them, not putting them to work. Pray for them, take them off the altar, put out a all white tablecloth, just make it simple, and start calling on your most elevated ancestors. And do this and stay consistent. Usually, when they do, again, accompanied by cleansing too. Usually, when they do this, their thoughts and thinking get so much clearer. It improves, and they didn't know that it was going to have that effect. They were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm thinking so clear now. I'm not as clouded. Like the communication with my ancestors is better." Yeah, because you took those family members off that were not well. Are they doing it on purpose? No, they're not doing it on purpose. Okay, you just didn't have enough the correct information on how to do it. Okay, so making sure we're calling and hoodoo in any ATR, we call on our most elevated ancestors. And I will say this again: we're calling on the ancestors that are saints, that are angels, that were righteous people. Okay, they are elevated. Some of them, quite naturally, are called gods now. Okay, that's who we're calling on. We just don't call on ancestors. I'm very particular about that. You're going to see that in a lot of your resources. We're not just calling, we call on the most elevated ancestors. You will hear them being called the Getty, the Bookaloo. You're going to hear these names be called elevated ancestors, be names called different things depending on the spiritual system of diaspora. But they're still calling the most elevated ancestors, and hoodoo is no different. Now, will there be ancestors, family members that want to work with you? I think a really good book to read on this, that if you guys haven't read it, is Ancestors Path. And in the book that this author kept talking about, she made contact with her ancestors. And this particular time, she wanted to call her. And I don't think she want any. She didn't want anything, and she called on this particular family member. And the family member told her, said, she said, "Well, why y'all ain't answering me?" She said, "Girl, because you don't want nothing." Stop calling us. You don't want nothing. You know. And sometimes they'll tell you don't want nothing. Okay? You just calling us for nothing. You don't want nothing. Everything good in your life. You ain't got nothing going on. So there's no need for us to be sitting up, what you want. So you got some family members like that too. Okay? And what you just calling it, what you call them for, because ain't nothing going on in your life. Everything just right. So what you want? Okay. So you have some family members like that as well. But use your discernment, get your divination together, sit that at your ancestors' altar. I don't want to hear it anymore. Because you get over there with me, you get telling me I can't communicate with my ancestors, just cut it out. We're not having that. Get your divination together. We're gonna get you comfortable with a divination and get you to trusting the communication with your ancestors. I even took it further. That's why I'm thinking about doing another tarot class so you can see your ancestors talk through those tarot cards. We did this through a workshop, and these women were blowing each other away with their tarot readings, and they were getting it right. Okay? So I don't want to hear it anymore about, I can't communicate with my ancestors. Yes, you can. Them your folks. What you mean? We're not doing it. Okay? Uh, and I give you too many resources there, and again giving you so much empowerment, encouragement. You're gonna get that out your head. We're not doing that. Okay, you're a medium. You're born a medium. Your ancestors always talk to spirits. That's your gift that was passed on to you. So what are you talking about? Okay, so I got to get you to understanding that you have this communication, and that be most of the thing. You got to get all the other programming out your head that convince you a physical being and you ain't no spirit and you can't talk to no spirit. That be most of the problem, most of your problem, because you think these folks convince you that you a physical person and you are not. You a spirit. that's encased in a meat suit. That's what's going on there. You are not that. So again, getting your mind reprogrammed to where the magic is. Because these folks got folks thinking around, got you looking for money, and you so caught up in how you look, I'm beautiful, and all this egotistical stuff. You got to pin that stuff away from you. Because people, they can be beautiful on the inside and have rotten soul. You got a lot of these people, they beautiful as they want to be. You get talk to them, they just rotten. As I said, don't be fooled with your eyes here. You ain't looking right. Okay? You are a spirit. And I know you, and that's what be fooling y'all. Y'all be looking at these aesthetics, as you call it. These folks, they put on putting on costumes and coming here and you believing it. You understand me? That's what's happening with a lot of y'all. These folks done put on costumes. They got on costumes. They got you thinking if you got this head wrap on and you got all this stuff on, then you spiritual and you got power. And then I'm gonna call myself priestess this and Ifa Yama, yeah. And I'm just gonna call myself all these names. And so I'm gonna wear this costume so people believe this. And some of y'all fall for the okie doke. And none of them come here and explain what they do like what I'm doing right now. They giving you vague stuff, showing you spells, giving you scriptures, but nobody has come here and slow down and explain this practice to you. And then when the people like me come here and explain it to you, you're taken back. You don't like it. You love the fluff. I'm not gonna give you no fluff because that ain't helping you. Now, if you like fluff, you go chase some other people that wear costumes and talk to you crazy, calling you bees and all at your name and all that stuff. And y'all love it because they right on your frequency and vibration. And that's what you gonna get. So when they get ready to cuss you out and treat you bad, don't let that surprise you because that's what you were attracted to. You was attracted to a costume and they talked to you on your lower frequency. And you thought y'all was vibing. Some of you vibing on a raggedy frequency and don't know it. Okay? Ain't your fault. I ain't blaming you. But y'all normalize this kind of crazy stuff. Ain't your fault. Not blaming you, but you need to be aware of what you're doing. Okay? You don't know. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm telling you to slow down and look at what you're doing. What you call is vibing. How is your vibe then? Because you got some people say they love being regular, they love being petty. They can't wait to tell somebody off. They can't wait. They love it. They can't wait to, have some type of confrontation with somebody. Okay? So you look at you do what you will with that. And I'm trying to help you. But a lot of y'all like the fluff. And you don't like no. And these spirits, the only way they can trust you is when they tell you no, you take it and you get yourself somewhere and sit down and be quiet and do like they ask you. They trying to help you. But some of y'all don't want to, take a no. You think you know everything, and you can't have that kind of mind when you dealing with these spirits. Because if the ancestor said you know everything, why the hell you keep coming to us? But you know everything, though. I was talking to the ancestors like this. I said, but I know. They said you don't know anything. If you knew everything, why you keep calling us on for everything? If you knew, why you need us? So you better get that out your head. You think you know everything, you don't. Okay? Because these spirits gonna let you know. And then it will blame it on the spirits they work with. Yep, talking about it's my fire spirits. Yep. Instead of taking accountability. Get a lot of this going on now. I'm trying to help you, honey, as much as I can. Why the ancestors got me here. Okay. Uh our bodies are connected to the land, and because of that, we must learn to pace ourselves when approaching spiritual work. So again, learn that you are again working with the earth element in this body in this dimensional, three-dimensional reality. So it's going to take you a minute to see that work manifest on this plane. So if you thinking that your magic gonna be something you pop in the microwave and bam, it's done. No, it doesn't work that way. Magic is not about how fast something happens. It's about allowing space for spirit to move. It's about patience, trust, and watching life reveal itself in divine timing. When we honor cycles, rest when we need it, and allow things to unfold naturally, hoodoo becomes not only more effective but more meaningful. Okay, so allow things to unfold, knowing that it's going to happen, that you did it right. Don't worry about if you lined it up and you planned it right, then you did it right. Okay, I got to get you that too. And is your magic supposed to look like anyone else's? You probably won't follow everything in this book, but it sure helps you, give you a template or how you can integrate hoodoo into your everyday life. Okay. One of the most important things this book clarifies is that hoodoo is not a religion. While it incorporates elements from various belief systems, including Christianity and Catholicism, it is not bound by doctrine or dogma. Now, I got to keep saying that because you got a lot of our people that still conjure up under Catholicism. And they still conjuring too. They're calling it Saint Veneration. But let's just keep it real. We all in here talking to spirit. We all doing necromancy. So let's just cut the game. We all trying to talk to a spirit to get our stuff done. So it never changed, you guys. Okay, I have to get you to seeing that. And you sit in that Catholic church long enough, like I tell you, you're gonna see some conjure. You sit in the Christian church long enough, you gonna see it, but they ain't gonna call it that. Depending on church you sitting in. Anyone of diaspora can anyone of diaspora can practice hoodoo regardless of the religious background. So if you're experiencing diaspora, yes, you can practice this. Okay, I'm not gonna say it's open like Miss Stephanie Rosebird, who is ill informed about what it is and trying to appease to people that don't look like us. Now, is these people saying they doing hoodoo? Yep, maybe, yeah. They saying they doing hoodoo. I let them say it if they think that, but I know better. Okay, I let them say that because they get mad because they feel entitled. They trip me out with that. Ooh, I almost cuss, Lord. I almost cuss. They trip me out. You don't think nothing wrong with you. Want to pick up something from somebody that your ancestors tried to annihilate, and you don't think nothing wrong with you? Why you? This is what I'm saying. If I passed away and you calling on me, I ain't gonna come help you. A lot of our ancestors felt like that. I ain't helping you with nothing. You feel entitled? I don't know what's wrong with y'all. I mean, the way, if you have to know your ancestor story, when I take you through these resources, the way when they found out that we had our own spiritual practice, they went crazy. They start opening up stores, selling our own stuff back to us, y'all. I'm telling you what these people did. And then try to put us in jail for practicing our ancestral magic. Oh, this is all over the news. This was a big thing. They commercialized it. That's why I have to tell you, you don't know what you're doing. You sit up here picking this up and you don't understand your ancestor story. And then you people that don't look like us want to pick it up and you don't understand what we had to go through. You just copy, 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 copy. I can't pick up now one of your books where you ain't talking about our stuff to explain your stuff. Got me thinking you ain't even understand what magic was till you come in contact with one of us. Can't talk about it. And I mean it, y'all. When I take you to a book, every last one of them, they're going to talk about hoodoo. They're going to talk about that more than they talk about EFA, the ATR. They're going to talk about hoodoo. You tell me what it is. Back then said, don't cuss me, spinning. I mean, honey, just raggedy. That's the best word I can come up with without cussing or being ugly. Just raggedy. You understand me? Just raggedy. You know, I just get on my soapbox about that. Trip me out the stuff you took our ancestors through, and you got the audacity to say that it is open. All right, something wrong with you. You ain't seen them people hanging from trees and stuff. Couldn't even go to the doctor. If they did go to the doctor, they looked at them like animals. They got to go to see a veterinarian for a doctor. And you gonna tell me it's open? You's a lie. If he is a devil, he is a lie. You understand me? And they think it's open. No, it ain't open, Miss Rosebird. You forgot who your ancestors were. And we created vapor rub. Just went through that. We created Vicks vapor rub. You know what they did? Capitalize of it, and now they making money after that. We created that. There wouldn't be no vapor, no Vicks vapor rub without our ancestors, because our great mothers made that. That was a remedy that we use for our colds and flu. Matter of fact, we changed the way American practice medicine. Hoodoo changed the game on that. That's why I tell you, hoodoo will heal your life, it'll heal your mind, and it's definitely gonna make your magic jump. If it weren't for hoodoo, you wouldn't have the medical industry. It would be very different. Now I show you that with your own eyes. We just went through the book Conjuring of America. What was that? Working the Roots. Mojo working. It shows you in these books. These black people that look like me that they wrote. And see, these folks that got you telling, we don't want you. You need to have your face in the book because we document what we did. And most of these fluff practitioners, they don't want you reading no book because they know if you start looking at these documents and all this stuff, they can't string you along. Because now you have the power to practice in your hand. You need to be looking at this. You need to get your mind right so you know what you're looking at and stop listening to these people. I was reading on Egyptian gypsies trial, came across the video when Caucasian woman put a claim to it. When they said use chlorophyll over the jab tea of hoodoo. Okay, how do you feel about voodoo? You gonna run into voodoo in the hoodoo. And matter of fact, hoodoo was out, but voodoo was known to be interchangeable with hoodoo. You're gonna run into voodoo into hoodoo. There's just nowhere around it. And I know that they said voodoo is a religion. Stop it with the crap with the man-made colonial stuff, colonizer crap. Let's just cut it. You that's what they told you about a religion that hurt your mind. And you're gonna repeat this same garbage to us. Our ancestors was not religious. You just made a religion in order to satisfy the colonizer because they thought if you were religious, then you're not a savage. You got a religion, then you're not a savage. This is what these patriarchs did, okay? Let's just cut it out with the games. You're gonna run into voodoo in the hoodoo. Ain't no way around it. In order to understand the spirits, I just talked about the crossroads spirit. The man was sitting in the woods with Papa Legba. Ain't no way around them spirits gonna roll up on you. And in order to understand those spirits, you got to look at voodoo. You got to look at a little bit of Ifa too. Use your common sense. Get out their religious stuff because this is stuff they made up. When you get the religion, the people again. When I see religion, and people, that's the bull crap. People say, oh, okay, here you come with your bull crap because you got this agenda. You need to get that in your mind when people start telling because they got an agenda. If they're trying to make that a religion. What's that mean? 10:55. Ain't no way around it. You're gonna run into the voodoo. They're gonna meet right there in the middle. You're gonna see it with your own eyes. You start working with your ancestors, you're gonna see it. Voodoo was already in the Americas. So if you know they're telling you it is in Africa. No, it's already there, it's in your bloodline. Voodoo means ancestral spirit, it means spirit. I can't tell you that ain't gonna happen because it's gonna happen. Might happen. Okay, can't tell you it ain't gonna happen. It might happen because that's in your bloodline. And don't nobody own no spirit. That trips me out. Well, you can't work them because you ain't in religion. None of these spirits are religious. Even the angels. Anybody can work with angels. You see the angels again. They they cross over to any culture in any religion. That angels don't care about no religion. They don't care. They work with anybody. Okay. You have these some of these spirits. They don't care about religion. If they more interested in bloodline, ancestral. If you got this in your bloodline, these spirits gonna show up. Remember, our ancestors wasn't religious. These people told us we were savages if we ain't had no religion. So what we do? We finna make a religion because we want to be like them. We got to be equal to them. And now y'all and some of you using the religion the same way they use Christianity to rob people mentally, spiritually, and physically to brainwash them. That's where religion gonna get you a whole bunch of brainwashing. You're not careful because they're gonna throw man gonna throw his humans because they flawed. Humans is flawed. Okay, religion they telling you you need to follow me, the man, the person, in order to get to God. That don't make no sense. I'm trying to get to a spirit. What's wrong with you? I don't need no person. I need a spirit. I don't need you. What? You mean you the only person talking to this spirit? Well, that's you the only person to talk to the spirit. Well, that's a red flag. What kind of spirit is it that only talk to you? Okay, so these are questions you need to be. Religion to me is kind of putting you in a confinement in a box, and you're working with a spirit that's limitless to religion. So you're gonna put the spirit in the box too? I just don't see it. My mind don't work like that. And maybe that's one of my problems. I don't know what to tell you, but it's been my experience. Uh, just because you're not in the voodoo religion, don't mean that these spirits ain't gonna pull up on you. It's still in your bloodline. Okay, I seen it and seeing it, and it ain't no bypassing. Right? Okay, you gonna see it. Now, I don't know what to tell you. I know these people that you ask, depending on who you ask. Now, you ask a real practitioners that's doing the work, and they be mad of us too because we successfully can work with Papa Legba. We can successfully work with Izarla Frida. We can successfully work with Ogun and Shago. They be mad at us when initiating these religions and we getting results with it. They be so damn mad. What you mad for? Cause you don't nobody own no spirit. I don't know why you would think that. Now, yeah, what y'all doing up in there is making pacts with these spirits. And then you get upset with us, but did nobody tell you to go over there? Y'all ancestors got that set up to where y'all make blood pacts and stuff with that. That's how y'all set that religion up. That ain't our fault y'all did that like that. Our ancestors have us working with these spirits in its natural capacity, the way we were, where they're leading us to work with, and we're getting success. And you're mad because we didn't do all the stuff that you do. We ain't got to sit up there and, you know, as often as you do, putting some up there and having to put a chicken or a lamb or a sheep or something up there. We ain't got to do a whole bunch of that. That we approaching this totally different. I forgot what other diaspora religion that is. Is that Umbanda? I think it's in Umbanda. They don't do a lot of sacrificing in that religion too. They take a spiritualism approach. But you chose to make, and I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, don't come over here trying to force that way to do it, because it's a variety of ways we can communicate with these spirits, and that's not the only way. That's what I'm saying here. So don't get your pennies in a bunch. Have a cow when you see us over here. Our ancestors then showed us how to do something, and now you mad because you didn't paid all that money and did all that. That's what you really be mad for. Okay, check and try to see why you're mad. Okay, and then try to spook us, tell us that's not who you talking to. Well, my ancestors told me that's who I'm talking to. Stop it with the spookism. You just like y'all trying to scare us that we with the hell, fire, and damnation because we don't go to your church or whatever. Y'all doing kind of the same thing as religious, so kind of check what you're doing. You know your ancestors weren't religious, and you trying to do the same thing that the folks did to you to us. Okay, so really slow down and think about what you're doing and how you're doing it. Now, if you something that you want to show us and you want to add, do that. But don't criticize us, the people of diaspora, especially in hoodoo, that have a very good practices going really well, and then try to tell us it's something wrong because we ain't initiated in your stuff. Hoodoo is not a religion. We don't care about that. And if you are practicing hoodoo, no matter what religion you is, it's only going to amplify your religion. It's going to turn your religion into magic. That's what hoodoo too do. It's gonna turn your hoodoo, your religion into magic. That's what hoodoo gonna do. Okay, I hope I'm very clear on you. Just had another man. Love that he shared his story. He's Muslim, but he practiced hoodoo. I think I seen two like that. They're Muslim, but they practice hoodoo. I like them sharing that because what they're telling you is hoodoo is amplified their religion. Now their practice have become magical because they put hoodoo on top of it. That's what's gonna happen. It doesn't matter. No matter what religion you are. And they got a lot of people trying to make hoodoo Christian. Everybody don't use scriptures in hoodoo. As long as your invocations, you can feel your words, you connected with your words, and your ashay, your work gonna move. But it's not required, as a lot of people are saying, that you be Christian to practice that. Or even that you're demanded to use Psalms, but that is the easiest way to use it. The practical way we have learned from where we from. But you got some people that are Muslims and they practice hoodoo very well. They don't use the scripture. So you get miscommunication around here. And what we do in our communities, we dismantle that, making hoodoo your own. Again, getting you connected with your ancestors and getting rid of all the fluff. Hold on, gotta blow my nose again, y'all. Who this sucks? Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm back again. Yes, so many Afro people have ties to the same path. Hoodoo, Candomblé, Santeria, Brujar. That's why we cover Mexican magic too. I have to cover Mexican magic because when we look at the Hispanics, because them Spanish came in and renamed them people. Okay, we the same damn people. Nothing changed. Just them Spanish, some Spaniards conquistadors, and them French came in and did a number on us, and now we forgot who the hell we was. But if you want to get in contact with the most indigenous knowledge, you have to look at the Mexican magic, because they preserved a lot of the magic too. They still have a lot of ancestral knowledge, indigenous knowledge over there in Central America and in Mexico. So we have to look at that magic. We have to look at that to again grab that ancestral knowledge. So we have to look at Brujar, look at Mexican magic. We have to look at that because it does have some of our ancestral knowledge in it. About them often though, I don't know. I feel like they don't like me. I want them, but I was having dreams. I don't know what that means, Caron. My grandma, she was just cussing me out. I just talked about, why you gonna call her out? Does she really want to be working with you? Like some family do not want to work with you. That's why we call them our most elevated ancestors. And a lot of people got you calling on family. And some of your family members, they had a colonized mind. They didn't like hoodoo. They're going to mess up what you're doing because they don't like what you're doing. They're not elevated in mind and spirit. So a lot of them, they're not going to help you. So I never recommended you calling on recent family members. I don't recommend it. And I know what you're seeing on here. And I'm trying my best to dismantle this. I say talking about my ancestors, I don't see the benefit from them, but they are mine. Okay, you do not work with recent family members. See, now they got that in your mind. Now you're calling up recent family members. But when you start educating yourself properly, because we go over this thoroughly, there's different types of ancestors. We want to work with the ancestors, again, the most elevated ancestors. We don't want to work with family because we know some of them was raggedy and touched by trauma. I don't want to work with my mama. I know, bless her soul, and I thank her for everything for me being here. But if I want to be truthful with myself, I'm doing a lot of healing from her. I don't want to work with her. Okay, I don't want to work with her because I know she can't help me. That woman was sick. She was sick. So how can I expect her to effectively do any magic with me when I know she was sick? No, I need to call on my most elevated ancestors because I know it was some good ones out there. And the older the ancestors are, the better your work is going to be. It ain't going to be because no recent family members. That rarely ever happens. Can't believe she would treat me like that. True. She talks about her kids even though they are. Okay. Can you explain how and why they tricked us into believing that? I have, what do you mean? What can I explain that? Let me see. Yes, in Africa, it says, yes, the Aztecas, the Mesos. So I have somebody here confirming what I said about that. You're also going to find, too, that voodoo and Ifa was already here. Because I've already talked about this. If you look at voodoo, Ifa, you look at all these ATRs, and you do your research, and we kind of covered this. And I'm gonna say this absolutely. Some of them might get mad, and some of them may not. They probably know because you don't know a lot about our indigenous occult system. There's an indigenous occult system as well, especially when you look at Obia. Obia is that. And when you start looking at the ATRs, Ifa, uh, Ifa, Voodoo, any ATRs, they start looking like they come from Obia. Obia encompassing all of them. So I have to ask the ATRs. And where did Obia come from? They telling you that it come from Africa. No, Obia started in ancient America. It started in the Americas. It started in Jamaica. These folks, they telling you that they Taino, they indigenous, they Arawak. They telling you who they is. That was already in the Americas. I know what they're telling you. Oh, they come from Africa. You a lie. Because America has the most ancient magic. You can see it in the people, because that's why them people trying to take hoodoo, hijack that. They want to walk like you, talk like you, be like you. They letting you know the magic in you. Ain't nobody over there trying to be like the Africans. Ain't nobody trying to walk like them, talk like them, dance like them. No, they're trying to be like the Black Americans. And I know y'all don't want to hear that, but that's where the ancient magic is. I'm going to talk about this in another video and give you more insight on it. But that's where the magic is, and you're running off somewhere else to be initiated in another country when all the magic is on the American land. That's the most oldest, powerful magic. I know what they told you. You better listen to your ancestors. I don't listen to people. I don't care what people say. The ancestors don't never lie. They may not make sense, but these truths are starting to coming out. And they don't make no fool out of me. Now, you may think I'm a fool for saying this, but you a fool for following people, especially somebody that said that's steady lying to you about yourself. I don't listen to folks because they lie. I listen to the land. Look at that land. What that land telling you? I don't care what them people putting there, but what the land say? The land say that America is the oldest land. The pyramids say that's the oldest land. The people say they're the oldest people. I don't care what them people saying. Them people trying to hijack us and put us somewhere else. And now we got some of these other people trying to hijack our identity. You tell me what it is, and I'm done with it. Okay. Okay, that's what I was asking. Okay. Yeah, the Arawak was here already sometimes. Yes, it's true. OB is from the Americas. It existed all throughout the Windward and Lindward hours of Kabir. That's why I have to ask them. And they starting to find out these people from Nigeria and Yoruba in Nigeria is starting to find out they come from America. Yeah. The Ghana people from Ghana, they starting to find out we are from America. I already told you our ancestors was getting ready to advance that place over there, okay? Everything came from here. Let's just cut it out with the games. Y'all don't believe me. Y'all like all this fluff stuff, okay? And I don't lie. Because I follow the ancestors because I'm not finna get in trouble with these spirits. Even if it caused me looking like a fool, I tell what the spirit tell me. I don't care about what people think about me, because people is raggedy. Okay, a lot of people raggedy. The first land mass out of was America. Okay, yes, America is the old world. The blind leading the blind. Okay, so don't believe these people. And I know it didn't make when ancestors telling me this. I was like, what? Because they was telling me, girl, you been here for 1,000 years. You're not from no Africa. You ain't never seen that place. Them folks come from us. I said, what? And I first said I was shocked just like y'all, but they wasn't lying. They never lie. They always show me something where it's a fact. Okay? Believe what your spirits tell you. Don't believe these people. I'm a living proof of that. You gonna see it for yourself. When you start following your ancestors, they're gonna be giving you stuff and telling you stuff. Keep it secret, keep it in your family. Because you're gonna start seeing this knowledge and stuff they're gonna be sharing with you. And yeah, we go through these resources and books to give you an indication of how the work look. But once you start working with your ancestors, they're gonna start showing you work that nobody's ever showed you, and that's how you know you're doing it right. Not what these people showing you. They're gonna be showing stuff. You're gonna be like, I know I can put that together, and it's gonna work. That's how you're gonna get the knowledge. And don't come up here showing nobody, because it ain't for you to show folks, okay? It ain't for you to show nobody. They don't come up here and show their work like that. But you'll see it for yourself. You right, because they gotta trust you, okay? And if you think that magic somebody else showing you is gonna work, no, it ain't gonna work till a spirit shows you, because that's who's showing them. That's who's showing them. Now you could probably buy some products, some conjure oils and things like that from them, but I don't recommend doing nobody else's work, because your magic is unique. It's about your creativity and art. That's their creativity, art, their ancestors, the spirit doing with them. You got your own magic, okay? There's a reason why they do their best to spend so much money to suppress our history on these parts. Yes, and they got you going over there to that other land. I think that's what happened to the lady. Because I always wondered. Remember that lady that went somewhere and got initiated, y'all, and she ended up unalive, and the people didn't want to send her body. The son had to find her body. She got over there and they initiated her, and the woman couldn't find the woman. Okay, this what I say, because you went somewhere else on the land where them ancestors is, and now too they didn't mess with a lot of these mystery systems so much. You have them making their own servitors and making pacts with spirits. You don't know what they got you making a pact with, and then you bypassing the ancestors on your land to go over there with them. And the ancestors on the land is where the magic is. These are the ones gonna have the most influence in your magic, the land. You go somewhere else, you just are disrespecting the ancestors, and you messing yourself up when you do that. I'm just telling you. Hey, Antoinette Williams. Yeah, they ain't want to tell her son what happened to you. She should have stayed there, and let's stop doing that. And then too, these people, and I'm not, I think they mean well. They were supposed to help when they try to help, but you got to remember, a lot of these people, they got a colonized mind. They look down on Black Americans. I can even when they try to initiate me into Ifa, they act like hoodoo. Oh, it's a slave. That's a slave magic. No, it's a magic that saved your damn life. Magic. What you talking about? Don't try to talk down to me because you think you got a religion. Oh, this is bread out of there. It was you, and it worked too. And our ancestors putting people on their back and get some stuff done. If your stuff's so powerful, why you keep running over to America and you not using that magic to fix your country? We use hoodoo to fix our country. So you tell me what, and if your stuff is some more powerful, why you look here and make it make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? We know hoodoo work. I'm not sure about you. You telling me when I get initiated, I'm gonna be in heaven and all this kind of stuff, and all these things gonna work for me. But if it worked like that, why ain't you using that stuff to fix what you got going on over there? Don't make it seem like it's better than hoodoo. Don't do this. This is an ATR too. This is a way of life too. I have to tell these people this. And be careful because these folks think they better than you. Some of these folks, they mind is sick. And so I believe in my heart, like the ancestor told me, some of them have been compromised. So be careful about jumping over there. I can't emphasize this enough to you. Because these folks that outright told you they jealous of you. They want to be you. They outright told you that they jealous of you and they want to be you. And you gonna get over there and trust them to initiate you? They mind is sick. Okay? They with the crazy stuff. And some of them outright told you that, and you really want to put your spiritual well-being in their hands. You really do. After they let you know they not black, they ain't vibing with your ancestors, your struggle, none of that. But you want them to initiate you. Think about that. King Amachi also went there, and one of the ladies claimed he was rude to her. And the second he came back there, he died. He was being initiated. See, stop going over there to them lands. The power is right there. Now, if you have somebody on that land that understands the practice, they're on American land, that's where you need to be initiated, not going nowhere else to them spirits. Because these people have fixed ideas about us. They're seeing us through the lens of the colonizer. I'm not saying it's their fault. They got their work to do too. But you need to understand all of that was born from America, not from them other places. America already had its own form of voodoo and Ifa worship there. These people starting to find out they come from us. They instead of trying to take it, they come from ancient America. All the most powerful magic is from ancient America on that land. Our ancestors was using the lands, the root workers, the midwives was using that land in their magic. So why would you go somewhere else, be initiated, and then try to come work with the herbs and stuff off American land? That don't make sense. I'm trying to help you. Ain't nobody gonna break this down. The only reason why I know this because I spend a lot of time with the ancestors, asking a lot of questions, and I know they get tired of me. Okay. Hi, Miss Penny. I've been watching Dead Boy Detective. And it's good. Thanks. What other shows or movies do you recommend? I'm gonna be talking about that in some more posts. So just stay tuned, especially if you follow me on TikTok. I always go what the ancestors lead me to do. I don't know until y'all be busy sometime doing something else, just like I did with that Wicked City and Dr. Buzzard. I was doing something else. I was walking around this house doing something else. And then said, you remember that movie in Wicked, that scene in Wicked City when that girl had the power influence? I said, yeah. And so said Dr. Buzzard had the power influence. I said, what? They said, yeah, go look at the clip. Go look at that clip with David Letterman. He had the power influence. See, that's how they deal with me, you guys. And I put that together. I didn't know that at first until they brought that up in my, because that's how a lot of these spirits work. They work with your memories. Okay. And they brought that up to me, and then they told me to go find that clip of Dr. Buzzer going on David Letterman, using his power of influence on David Letterman. So that's how to answer. If it come up with something like that, then I'll share it with you guys. But that's how it works for me, you guys. And my mind just works like that. And I didn't even know about that clip until they told me. They said, go look at that clip. Go, you can find it on YouTube and watch him do the same thing that woman did in Wicked City. Dr. Buzzard had the power of influence. And that's just how it worked for me. So if it's something comes up, I would definitely share it with you. Okay? And sometimes I reshare it with you if I think you didn't get it. Albeit it's powerful. They made it illegal. Meanwhile, governments use it and try to hire us for their agenda. They know it's real. They love Kabbalah too. Okay. In order to study, you go down the rabbit hole with Obia, baby. They can't scratch this, and they cannot scratch the surface on Obia. You understand me? You got to read every occult book in each culture to understand the workings of it. And even then, you are not scratching the surface on it. It is ancestral. You're talking about somebody who can stand in one place, say one phrase, and rain fire from the sky. Can you imagine that standing next to an ancestor? They mutter two or three words and they burn somebody up, fire come out the sky. This is the type of magic that they had. And it was right there in the Americas. They tried to shut them people down. Now, I believe a lot of it got preserved through this, the offsprings of these ATRs. They kind of have a little bit of that because they have a lot of the animism in it, and OB is highly animism. Okay, but to scratch, you do your research on it. It ain't a cult that can mess with OB, and that's a fact, Jack. That's a fact, Jack. Now you go down that rabbit hole you want to, and I thought that's what I want to do until them ancestors said, "Baby, if you do this, you cannot live in this reality anymore. You are going to be committed to spirits. You will be devoted to spirit. You will not be attached to this world anymore. Not in the way you think. Your whole life. No. Okay? You got to be born there, or ancestors got to pass that on to you." Yes, OB is very powerful. I heard stories about it in Jamaica. And that's American. That was here in America. And if you start looking at a lot of these other ATRs, they look like offshoots of OB. In fact, all these religions like they offshoots of it. Okay? So you do your own research. I'm not making this up. Okay? You gonna see it for yourself. Okay, hoodoo is has room for you. That inclusivity is one of the reasons hoodoo became such an enduring, powerful fixture of Black culture, especially in the antebellum South. So you're gonna see hoodoo very, it's very deep in the South, and it's matriarchal. It seems to be passed on from mother to child. I, you know, Maybe there was hoodoo up in the northern states. I don't hear it being that prominent up there though. Like in Michigan, Washington, up there doing the north. I don't hear a lot of it. I don't know about y'all hoodoo, but I know down here in the South, when we was in the South, you see a lot. You saw a lot of it, and maybe they do. They had their own in the North, but you see a lot of it in the South. Okay, we're gonna be immersed in hoodoo, voodoo, and conjure in the South. At its core, hoodoo is about self determination, the ability to shape your life, protect your spirit, and set things right when the world tries to work against you. The practice fixes real life. Hoodoo is practical, it deals with real issues we all face: mental, emotional, physical health, drawing love, maintaining peace, good spirits in the home, navigating relationships and working in school, attracting luck and abundance, protection, setting things right when justice or imbalance occurs. This is truly fix my life, heal my life spiritual practices. And 365 days of hoodoo honors that by offering daily inspiration that meets you where you are. In the book, we talk about curios, gardens, and sacred time. Throughout each month, the book includes special sections called curio of note in hoodoo gardening. These moments create intentional pause, mental and spiritual space for learning, grounding. The curio of note sections deepen your understanding of traditional hoodoo tools and materials, while hoodoo gardening offers step by step guidance for growing your own spiritual allies. Again, this is why I tell you to grow something. Grow something. A plant, or you need to have some plants around your house. You need to be making friends with some plants that are gonna be helping you in your work. Okay. You see a lot of practitioners, especially they call them green witches or hedge witches or root workers. You see them work with a lot of plants. These are spirits. So that's the first thing you want to do. You want to get connected with the land. You want to be making friends with these plant spirits. You want to be making friends with these trees. These are spirits. These are not just passive be objects. These are beings. Many are here in New York, but our families came from Georgia, Virginia. My family is from Gullah, but came up north way back. That's how it made its way up here. Okay, because I don't hear anything originating from there. I always see people from the south moving into the north and bringing their ancestral magic with them. Miss Penny, have you tried mullein for your cough? No, I need to get. I've been saying I need to go to the herbal store. I haven't gone yet. I need to try that. You so right, sweetie. I need to give me a tea. I said I'm gonna give me some tea. I love drinking teas. I've been around here drinking uh chamomile tea, ginger tea. I just drink teas all day long. Sometimes I drink teas all day long, so that's how I've been treating myself. It's been stopping it from keeping me congested because it's all coming out. It's all so I'm not stopped up. It just keeps coming out. I always feel connection to plants. So, especially if you're an earth sign, if you have a lot of earth placements, I do recommend that you start working with earth. You have some people that have a lot of water placements and they work well with water. You have some people that have some fire placements and they work very good with fire. Okay. You won't know that either until you look at your natal chart, and sometimes I can see that in your natal chart what elements that's good for you to work with when I do your reading, and that can give you more clarity too and stop you from doing a lot of guessing. So if you want your natal chart and you want me to break it down hoodoo style, I can do that for you. That way you'll have more clarity on where you need to be going, what element you need to be really working with when it comes to your magic. What about air signs? Air signs are really usually, if you have a lot of air placements, you're going to be good at breath work and using your mouth, chanting, conjure. You have to be careful what you say and with your mind as well. Okay, so you're going to be good with creativity and using your words because breath is air. You're working with air magic. So you got some people they work good with psalms. They work good with just conjuring. Fire signs really going to be doing good with candles or burning petitions. Or you got some people that what do they call it? They scribe through the fire. They work with good with these fire spirits. Okay, depending on how your chart look, where your placements at. I think it's helpful. I find these when I do this hoodoo spiritual blueprint of people, it really helps them to gain a better foundation in the elements they should be working with in their magic. Okay, good night. Good night. I'm about to wrap it up in a minute, you guys. That's why I try to do this on a Friday while y'all was off, if so many of you was off. Uh, the three sacred sections of the book. One, you have the hoodoo fixing, which you talk about mojo bags, spiritual water baths, fire and candles and metals. You got metals in hoodoo too. Foot track magic, graveyard dirt, goofer's dust, and crossroads work. This section teaches respect, preparation, intentionality. You learn not just what to use, but why it works. So again, this is broken down in sections. Really good book. Uh, if you're trying to integrate hoodoo in your everyday life and seeing how that should look, great book for that. I have a stellum and an Ellen. What does that mean? I will have to break that down. Okay, you will have to give me your whole chart, and I will have to look at it. I don't. I can't tell you a lot just from that. I will have to look at everything. Okay. Can't tell you a lot for that. So if you're interested in that, get in that DM and give me your email address and I can get that done for you. And that service is the Hoodoo Spiritual Blueprint is $15. Okay. The other section, and I think to you guys too, and I don't want to talk about it, but we're gonna end up talking about love magic because love magic gonna take me into X magic, and so we're gonna try to talk about love magic here coming up too. Then we have section two, which is tricks. Uh, this is everyday hands-on section, the part of the book that return to again and again. It focuses on a hoodoo used to address directly. So I like the tricks. I like the tricks better than the spell. I don't know. I like when ancestors like lay tricks because it comes in direct contact with the target. You know, a lot of people like spells, but when an ancestor can show me a trick, I love the tricks. Okay, so don't sleep on the tricks too. Sometimes a trick can be more effective than the spell because you get a chance to work on the ingredients and just lay it and watch it happen. I like tricks. Okay, I like tricks. Some people like to do a spell, but you got to see too. Our most the most effective magic our ancestors did when they laid tricks for the person to come in direct contact with the word. I like the first time the ancestors had me doing that, that blew me away. They had me laying a trick on this person, and I didn't think it was gonna work. Even my coworkers like, Miss Petey, it's gonna work. I said it's got to work because they just told me to do it, so I can't doubt that it's gonna work. You know, when they tell me to do it, it didn't work. I laid that trick and it worked. So don't never underestimate that. You know, they have me laying tricks. A good way to see this too is when you start laying down your brick dust or your salt and things like that in your house for protection. You're laying a trick, and you know it worked because the person, the raggedy person that's trying to do you harm, can't come in your house. So I just love tricks. You kind of really get to see your work right off the bat, laying a trick. So really don't sleep on that trick work. Sometimes you think you need to do a spell, but sometimes you need to work. You need to do a trick. I like them tricks though. Keep them eggshells too. Yep, keep them eggshells too. They come in handy. Okay. So again, she's going to talk about attraction, love work, relationship healing and maintenance, luck, abundance and prosperity, home protection and moving work, career, business, and success magic. These are not abstract spells. These are tools for navigating real life every day of the year. Okay, because right now you going to people to solve your problems. You need to be going to spirit. This is the time you need to be talking to your ancestors a lot about what's going on. Get off the phone with your friends. Stop telling people your problems. They can't help you. They can't help you. They can't do nothing but listen and talk about you behind your back. Okay? You need to be talking to them spirits to fix your life, not these people. Stop picking up the phone telling people your business. Get over there to your ancestors' altar and pour your business after them. You ain't got to worry about them going to gossip and talk about you behind your back. They're gonna be trying to help you fix your life. Okay, you got to train the way you totally deal with your life. Okay, so you need to be talking to them and then getting them to help you do stuff. The Patreon link is in my bio. Okay. Section 3, do not disturb me not. This section is essential. Hoodoo does not ignore negativity. It teaches you how to take control of it. Again, she's going to be teaching you protection magic, hexing magic, I'm sorry, and unhexing magic. Okay. Now we must understand, because I get a lot of people in here. I'm seeing too much of this stuff. Ooh, you people that just love hexing and hexing. There's an approach to this, to hexing. I don't even like calling it hexing work. I like to call it justice work because you should be justified in doing this work, especially if you're working with these good spirits like this, because these good spirits ain't gonna let you just do a lot of hexing and messing people up. Because the ancestors and spirit guides that I recommend for you, you can't do no regular stuff. It's got to be justified. Okay, you know, I think we should be calling this justice. Justice work, if anything. She's going to teach you banishment, and she does list it as justice work at the bottom. This section empowers you to recognize when something is spiritually off and gives you the tools to correct it rather than endure it. A living handbook for the year 365 days of hoodoo is meant to be used, not rushed. It can be your daily hoodoo inspiration, a workbook for reflection, reference guides you return to when life shifts. It reminds us that magic is the strongest when it is consistent, intentional, and rooted in spirit. This book teaches us that hoodoo is not something we visit It is something we live. When practiced daily, hoodoo becomes protection, healing, clarity, and power woven into fabric of everyday life. And hoodoo is a way of life. So this is a good way to get you comfortable with it. And hopefully that you'll find this book will be useful for you. What eggshells good for? They're good for protection, girl. It's Corselia. Crushed eggshells is Corselia that you can wear up on your skin that'll help protect you. They're using some of that in some of the diaspora spiritual practices. We also use egg cleanse and limpus to cleanse and strip any negativity that's in our auric field. So egg powders are good for that. You got some people that save egg powders and make their own Corselia. Can you say them? The name of the book again, 365 Days of Hoodoo by Stephanie Rosebird. It says Stephanie Rosebird, 365 Days of Hoodoo, Daily Rootwork, Mojo, and Conjuration. Now, if you're in our community, hi, how you doing, Rashawn? Was it Rashad Whitting 9? And so, if you're in our community, you get all these books for free. You get all these ebooks for free, and you'll be surprised. You get so many ebooks over there that comes with the resource. Then you get my mentorship, uh, and whenever you need me or whatever, I'm always there. So I'm always hoovering. You probably would get tired of me because I'm always kind of hoovering over you guys, seeing what you got going on. But we have a beautiful community there. We have over God. We got so many books over there. Okay, I know we got so many resources over there. We cover a variety of things. And again, we teach you to practice so you can create powerful spells. They're going to do you no good for us to show you a spell and you don't understand how it works. So we show you to practice so you can understand how to put your work together. That's more important. I tried being in the community. I followed the steps. Okay, I tried being in the community. I followed the steps. Okay. And if you find something over there that you're just not getting, reach out to me. I don't know if you don't reach out to me. Do not worry about me breaking. Think I'm very different. You won't know that until you have contact with me. But please, if there's something that you're trying to learn or you need more support on, reach out to me because I want to help. I'm not throwing you over there just to get your money, then throw you over there and leave you out there. No, I don't work like that. The ancestors honey get me. I don't do that kind of stuff, okay? I don't do that. So if you need something and you need more support, let me know. Okay. If it's so you having an issue with something, let sit down with me, okay, and see what's going on because that's what I'm there for. I'm there to help you. I don't want you to be doing it by yourself. The link is in our bio. You can go directly to our profile and you'll see the Patreon link there and take you directly to our Hoodoo community. And we're getting ready to do a poll to find out what you want in our community, how you want our community to look, how we can better serve each other, how we should, I get you included in that. That's very important for me. Um, 'Cause I know the more engaged, the more involved you are, the more you're gonna get the things that you need. And I don't know what you need until you tell me, so that's why I'm asking you. And the closed mouth can't be fed. If you don't say you hungry, how I know? You don't say no, I don't know. Okay? So you have to communicate with me and let me know. But the community is it is a safe haven of support to help you learn to practice. And if there's a topic in there that you want me to cover or review with our community, I will happily do that. Anything to help you grow on your journey and gain more insight. I'm all for that. Not going to bite your head off. If there's anything you want to see in the community that you want me to add there, bring it to my attention. Okay? Bring it to my attention and I would definitely sit down with it and do a poll and see what the rest of the community thinks. Okay, very approachable. Don't know everything. We all practitioners here, and I'm gonna treat you like a practitioner in that community. So when I'm talking to you like you know what you're talking about. I'm gonna treat you like you're a practitioner because you are. Because when you get over there, that's what you're telling me. You're a practitioner. I'm gonna treat you like a practitioner. Okay? You're gonna have all the information there. You're not gonna be confused. And if you are looking for something specific, excuse me, let me know. And I usually drop it in your chat. I direct message you and send it to you. I'm really good about that. If you're looking for something particular, I can tell you where it is and where to look at. Okay? All right. It's been a pleasure meeting with you guys today, doing this book discussion. And for the people in our community, you should be getting a poll before I start posting because we have slowed down. You got have listened. You said, "Oh, Miss Penny, I can't even catch up. Your study posting." We have slowed down. We're gonna slow down for a minute, give you time to catch up. Okay, I will not post again until you tell me how you want that community to look. If I do post again, it will be on a review of a book that, maybe I feel like you need to look over it. Or maybe you say, "Hey, Miss Penny, I read this book. I ain't understand it. Can you please do a review on it?" Then I'll do a review on it. Okay. All right. Love you guys. See you soon.